everybody, and welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 45. I am your host, and with me, as always, my teenage son, Jackson. Say hello, Jack.
Hi.
Well, we are back in the studio in the basement after heading out for our walk to get booster juice. Nothing exciting. We got the same thing as usual.
Yeah.
You did get food this time, though.
I did get food.
You don't always get food.
I don't always get food.
What was your food?
Panini thing.
A barbecue chicken panini or something?
Yeah. And we had to we were up until midnight last night.
We were. Thanks AEW.
Thanks basketball.
Well, yeah, that's
basketball.
True. It's basketball's fault.
Yeah, it is basketball's fault.
Which I am just consuming a ton of playoff basketball right now. It's amazing.
I know they're probably prioritizing basketball, right? But it's they get. You say it's on basically every day, right? So it's is it too much to ask
right
for
now.
2 hours?
Yeah, it is.
In one day, in the allotted slot, move it earlier, move it later, move the basketball later.
It's about ratings and money, and the NBA playoffs get big ratings.
Yeah, well, they stink like fart.
And then people pay big money to advertise, and then they get money.
Yeah,
and they like money.
I like money.
Everybody likes money to some degree, pretty much, I think.
Yeah.
But anyways, welcome back. Just get our contact information out of the way here. fnswrestling@gmail.com. FNS_wrestling_podcast on Instagram. Leave a comment in the YouTubes, if that's where you're listening. I was going to say watching, but
sounded really weird saying the YouTubes.
I know, because I'm old. That's how we say it. We say the YouTubes, the internets, and stuff like that. We'll always get back to you. We did actually get a little bit of feedback this week. Heard from Kevin Tarrant, Matt Cecil, and Fenstu. Were sort of positive feedback for us likes and sort of keep up the good work stuff. So thank you.
Oh, okay.
I did say we'd always mention if people say anything good about anything about us, really. So
yeah.
So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How was your week of school?
It was fine. I've got a PA date this week.
Yeah.
We have Victoria Day this past Monday, and then this Monday I got a PA Day.
Yeah.
And then I think it's Wednesday our stay-at-home order's done, which is
our stay-at-home order is being lifted. Your brother's
I literally checked Monday. I'm literally just waiting for it.
Your brother's actually at outdoor basketball training today, which seems strange. He hasn't done it in so long, but that's great.
The second I wake up, June 2nd, I'm going to text one of my friends.
Yeah, to get together with a friend somewhere outside. Probably a good idea.
Come on. I tried to turn off my phone, right, and I accidentally pressed the volume button too, so I just accidentally took a screenshot.
Nice.
I hate doing that.
It's the worst. That's why I don't have my phone in my hand 24/7.
And okay. And I've also discovered a Star Wars figure website, which is based in Ontario, which is just so great.
Yeah.
Because literally the only thing stopping me from not using Ringside more is the duty, and just takes a while. But this one's literally
exchange rate, duty.
Right.
It's
this one's literally in Canada and in Ontario. Literally could not be better.
So exciting.
And so they got some cool stuff. They even got Bad Batch.
Yes.
Bad Batch is new show.
We're still keeping up with Bad Batch, the newest Star Wars animated series. It's been out every Friday. Pretty entertaining still, I think, right?
Yeah, Crosshair wasn't in this week's episode, though, so that kind of...
disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's not much new here, right? We've gone from a massive heat wave back to being kind of cool-ish.
Earlier we went on jeans and a hoodie.
Jeans and hoodie weather.
It's practically June. It's
right. We had snow.
It's the 29th.
It was snowing Thursday morning?
It didn't it wasn't snow where it stayed on the ground, but it was snowing.
No accumulation.
It was snowing.
Clearly snow falling from the sky, which is not cool.
Right. It's basically June.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, time to start talking about some wrestling, I reckon.
No.
No?
No. I don't think we should do that. I think we should
just keep bantering.
We should keep the name of FNS Wrestling, but I think we should just not talk about wrestling.
Lose the few listeners we have as we just banter, and they're like, what?
Who cares?
We don't care about your lives. Talk about wrestling.
Oh, I did, so it's funny because I did a heist, right? And I got money, and I was
GTA update everybody.
2 point something, and now I'm at 1.8 mil already.
Nice.
Because I haven't even bought that much. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Oh, and I won.
Welcome to money. It just goes and goes and goes.
Right, and it's so stupid. I have to pay my mechanic and stuff every day, so the game just literally takes my money every time I'm on.
It's preparing you for life. That's
$575 for something, or
minus all the beating random citizens and stuff. That's not preparing you for real life.
Yeah, and just running them over,
also not preparing you for real life.
Right,
or
robbing a casino.
But the paying for stuff all the time. Well, I mean, if you could come up with a good scheme and get away with it, like Ocean's 11, then maybe you rob a casino. I'm just saying, don't kill people.
And so there's always like every week. So at the Diamond Casino,
yeah,
you can go there. You can play table games. You can bet on horse races, whatnot. There's
Thunderskunk.
Yes, Thunderskunk. Right. I always bet on Thunderskunk.
See, I listen.
If it's there. Right. And so there's a wheel you can spin every day. And you can get prizes like cash, casino chips, which you can use to bet on the races and play the table games, which you can also trade in for cash and vice versa. Like you can.
That's how casinos work.
Right.
Yep.
And you can get RP, which is how you level up. You can get clothing, which is the worst thing, because what's the point? You can get a mystery thing, and then there's always a podium vehicle, which changes week to week.
Right.
And for the past 2 podium vehicles, I've actually gotten.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. I got this. It's called a free crawler. It's kind of it's a hefty one, and it's kind of got like it's bigger tires, so it's an off-road vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
It looked cool because like it had different colors. I didn't know if I would like it, but I do like it. And then I got this black and orange like sports car that looks really cool, and I gave it like orange rims and a spoiler that looks really good.
You know you're playing too much GTA when we walk around the neighborhood. We go on almost a daily walk. And he'll be like, that looks like a car from GTA, and that kind of looks like...
Well, they have probably a lot of cars based on... They even, like, on the...
I'm sure they do.
I literally listen to the one... When I'm in a car in GTA, the one radio station non-stop pop, because they play, like... They play I Want It That Way, and some Rihanna song. Like, basically, they play stuff I actually know.
Nice.
Like, they do have some real songs in there, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, they do.
That they're able to do that.
I used to...
Kind of like AEW is kind of getting... Like, they got Wild Thing, they got...
Paying for real music.
They got Cassidy, they got Jungle Boy. Is there someone else? I feel like there's...
I don't know.
Not.
But let's start talking about it, okay?
It's funny, I literally said, no, we shouldn't talk about wrestling, then that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what you did.
Usually I just joke for
I'm going to force you into it now. We're going to start our first segment of news and rumors. Starting out with the ratings, I only have half the ratings this week because Dynamite was last night.
Imagine only having half the ratings.
So then I tried to compensate by going to find Impact ratings again, and man, I tried pretty hard. And I mean, I'm not an internet wizard, but I couldn't find them anywhere. So you're just going to get NXT's ratings from me this week.
That's no fun.
I may go back and put up Dynamite on next week's show if I remember, but who knows? Sometimes I don't remember things, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I think you're going to have a tough time again because we got another Friday Dynamite.
Yeah, they're not back until like end of June or July on Wednesday
Stupid basketball.
But anyways, Tuesday's live edition of NXT drew 698,000 viewers on USA Network, so that's down 0.29%, so basically the same as last week. Drew a 0.13 in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is down 13%. And actually is the lowest in that demographic since moving to Tuesday nights to run away from AEW, as we would say. So basically a heavily hyped main event with your most prestigious title being defended, and ratings went down a little bit. That can't be good.
I blame Cross.
Of course you're going to blame Cross. But I mean...
Hey, he sucks.
I mean, I imagine they were assuming that was going to draw ratings, right?
I think maybe they think he's a draw, and I think people are starting to realize he's not.
Maybe. I think like...
I hope people realize that.
I think he's probably not for a lot of the hardcore NXT fans.
Which I think is a lot of people now.
And then I think the people that watch it as sort of like the third thing they watch kind of probably love him. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
But I'm going to assume at least that there's more people like us watching NXT
that are hardcore NXT.
Because even though NXT's not what it used to be, it's not as NXT as it used to be. But
it's definitely not main roster either.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I would assume that there's more people like us opposed to those people who would like Cross and would like Shotzi Blackheart and
Who would like the people you can't stand.
Right.
What do you have for news?
I got AEW is set for a big expansion, including more roster growth. And this is actually from Tony Khan, so.
Yep.
Yeah, that should be fun.
And I had that too, and it said that he's starting on Sunday, right? So I assume the Casino Battle Royal
person will be new, because I just thought a thing like it could be someone like John Silver who's already there, but like I would assume it's going to be a debut. And
if he said major roster expansion starting on Sunday, I don't think that I think there will be somebody new, right? It seems like he's kind of committing to that.
Maybe even in another thing as well, not just the Battle Royal. Because, like, you could have someone debut after a match, or, like, something.
And roster expansion makes you feel like it's a wrestler and not just like a commentator or something again,
like
right?
Paul White.
Right. So I don't know. I feel like the roster's plenty big enough.
I think there's still some good additions they could make. I agree they have a big roster.
You can't forever expand, right? So at some point, are they going to start releasing people?
They might have to, or they just, I don't know.
I mean, I'd personally love to see Daniel Bryan, but I think they have too much talent already. And even, I guess they're adding another hour of TV.
I'd rather have someone like Cassius Ohno because he's underutilized.
Even with another hour of TV, I still think they maybe have too many people, but I don't know. They probably know better than I do, so fine. But I just think maybe slow down on the signing tons of people.
Mm-hmm.
Other things, I have a nice item here that I'm going to warn you, it's sort of rooted in a bit of pettiness by me. It's about Cody. And remember his promo last week? Was that last week, right? That we love so much?
It was either last week or 2 weeks ago. It was so bad. Let's just say
very patriotic
the
one.
grossest promo.
So he faced some backlash for that promo. It turns out, I guess, that many people didn't appreciate I guess basically a wealthy, privileged white man explaining racism to them at one point, right?
Yep. My wife is black and I'm going to have a black daughter.
And also, as I was saying, like, to people outside of America, it just seems endearing to be like...
Right, it's like, people come here to live the American dream, and this is the freedom country.
We do freedom better than everybody else.
Right.
And it's not... So anyways, he was on a podcast sort of talking about it.
Oh boy.
And he said that AEW had a focus group and that the promo had tested really well in these focus groups. Quote, "We have a full focus group for them, as crazy as that sounds." Then he backpedaled on that later on a phone call for some reason. I have theories and speculation.
Well, of course it would go by. Who's going to like tell him, no, you shouldn't do that? He's probably like... They're probably just going to agree with him to not like get their heads chewed off or something. So
it became, as he started backpedaling, it wasn't a focus group, but he ran it by some veterans backstage, which is a big difference, right? So now he's trying to say, it's a great question, and I'm excited you asked it, because I'm going to chalk this whole thing up to me not knowing what the term focus group means. Okay, Cody.
Sorry, what is a focus group exactly?
Like, you basically, before you would get a group of random people. Let's say I have a new cereal I want to introduce a group of people to try it, and we talk about it.
Legends who he probably knows well, like maybe Arn Anderson or Dean Malenko or...
Well, here's the part I think is funny too. I woke up this morning to a very large amount of people, should be number of people, but anyways, Cody, in my mentions, almost all of them with a Roman Reigns or Sasha Banks avatar. So basically, like, kind of quietly saying they're clearly WWE fans and they're just... Like, that's the only reason someone would disagree with me is because
that's what he was
WWE
saying about
fan.
The elite infighting as well.
Right? So he's kind of... And then he's saying, chalk it up to me not knowing what a focus group is. No, Cody. Like, it sounds like people didn't like him implying a focus group comprised of, like, employees approved that promo. It was kind of like, well... It wasn't just me, like a lot of other people said it was awesome, and maybe they're kind of like, hey man, we don't really appreciate you saying we have a focus group when we don't. So then it's like, oh, sorry, I didn't know what, like, he wants to be a politician is what I'm hearing, and this is him sort of, my interpretation, he lied, he got called out, and is behaving exactly like a politician that he kind of wants to be. He's trying to soften the blow by claiming he doesn't understand what a focus group was. And I'm not a fan of Cody, but he's not stupid. He's a very smart guy. He knows what a focus group is. I don't believe for a second he doesn't.
The whole elite are smart. Whether like I think like we were talking about a thing that like I think Kenny seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
Like Cody, I don't know if Cody's necessarily a bad guy, but he's definitely ego.
He just did a thing that he thought was amazing. People didn't like it.
I think he's just
and now he's trying to
egocentric.
He's trying to explain it away.
Egotistical?
Yes.
I don't know.
I call him a narcissist, and that might be a bit strong, but
like he's going on about like his country and his family that he's having, and he's got a reality. He has to have a reality show, and he has to like he literally has the most pointless match I think on Double Nothing, and he's trying to make it the most important.
We'll get a chance to talk about that.
Oh boy, will we! I have a lot to say about that.
I think that's it for me with news. What else do you have?
So Tom Phillips was released. Announcer, which kind of sucks. I like him. He's probably one of my preferred main roster announcers.
I would agree.
I like him. I mean, it's hard to say if any of them are good, because Vince is just shouting
Who
at them.
was
probably.
I remember I told you.
Dax.
Dax said that he was the best commentator he's ever worked with, and I forget
Isn't
the
that odd?
exact.
Because Dax has probably worked with Mauro Ranallo.
And I forget the exact wording, but he basically implied that the only reason Tom Phillips wasn't good was because of the way WWE produces him and limits him. Right,
I think he was good for what he could do.
Oh, he said something like his biggest problem was that he actually loved wrestling or something like that, right? Which is not what you get to do in WWE on commentary. Anything else?
SummerSlam 2021 is reportedly possibly going to be a Saturday, August 21st.
Did they say why?
I don't know. And apparently they want to try to get Cardi B to be a special guest host. And that sounds awful.
Hey, she's a big star, and they love star power, mainstream especially. So
I hate,
who knows?
Like the pop music, all the female singers like Taylor Swift and all that crap.
Yes, you're a teenage boy.
No,
Anything else?
Even before that. Adnan Virk is gone. They quote unquote mutually agreed to part ways. I saw a thing that it was a company decision, but then I saw another thing that they kind of agreed it wasn't really working out.
He's probably like, it's not fun getting pummeled on Twitter and Instagram and whatever because people hate him.
And then also Vince probably shouting down his throat.
And I don't think
like,
he was...
he debuted right away, too, like after Mania. Like, he said, boom, he's here.
That's what I'm about to say. Like, I think they kind of set him up to fail. Like, I don't think he was good. We talked about this, a bit. Yeah, I don't think he was good. But I also think
he didn't have much training.
It's like they threw him in the deep end, right? And then figure out how to swim. And that's
that's like if you threw like a 3-year-old toddler in the deep end of a pool.
Figure it out, bud.
And expected him to swim.
Right. It doesn't work out well. So, I mean, I don't think he was good, but... I mean, they could have started him out slowly, right?
And on that note, I think he's a former UFC commentator. Jimmy Smith is going to be his replacement.
I saw that, and I don't know who that is. But...
I don't either, and that has to be the most basic name I've ever heard.
It's from the jobber name generator.
Right, no offense to this guy, but he has the most basic name I've ever heard.
I don't know him. I saw a picture of him. I don't recognize him.
He's bald.
So I hope he's good.
And Sanity were apparently going to reform to face Imperium last year before the pandemic, and then Eric Young got released and whatnot.
He did, and now he's...
Which I think Sanity was... Before they hit the main roster, I think they were good.
I think they could never be like a main event
Right,
faction,
but they floundered on the main roster, absolutely.
Of course they did. Shocking.
But I think they would have been cool, because I think Wolf is pretty good. I think Young is pretty good, right? And Dane's like...
That's when we didn't know Wolf could wrestle, remember? Because he was just like a crazy man.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, he was in UK for a cup of coffee. You're like, holy cow, he can wrestle.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been cool. I would have liked that.
You always liked Sanity a bit.
Yeah, and I just think that it would be cool. And Imperium's good too. I think they're both like good enough in the ring, right? So I think that would have been cool. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get that then.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, let's move into our first in-depth review of the week, and that is me, I guess, taking us through some NXT from this week. So, NXT, here we go. All right, so the show starts with a summary of the Cross Balor storyline leading up to the main event tonight with a bit of a hype package for each man. It seems like long ago now, so it's hard to remember the specifics. I have a note here that I didn't love the voiceover parts, and then I had even Jack asked who the voice was, because you were annoyed by it too. Remember, it was kind of a cool package, and then there was someone doing a little bit of a voiceover, and their voice
I don't remember that, but I'll take your word for it.
Because I was thinking it and typing the note, and you even went like, whose voice is that? Kind of like not loving it. And I thought the same.
I remember, I feel like I know you're right, but I honestly don't
you're
remember.
Like, complaining vocally about something? That sounds like me. Yeah. It was.
No, it just, I honestly don't remember that. That's weird.
So because I was thinking it and you said it, so I don't remember the details. I thought everything else was cool about it, but the voiceover seemed out of place to me as well.
I honestly don't even remember it that much.
The commentary team run down the card for the show tonight, and we'll start with the women's tag team championship match.
And the first thing I get to see is Shotzi Blackheart's entrance.
Shotzi Blackheart with Ember Moon and the Tank.
I despise them.
Versus Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. And I mean, both teams, each team, whatever, got a lengthy entrance here, right? Like, I thought anyways.
Yeah.
Enough. I noticed it enough to make a note of it. I normally don't care at all, but I thought, yeah, lengthy intros for both, or entrances for both. It starts out, Gonzalez overpowers Shotzi, throws her toward Ember Moon, who tags herself in. We get a Rana, a couple of roll-ups by Ember Moon for a 2 count. She gets caught, slammed by Gonzalez, who tags in Kai for a double team stomp. Moon avoids Kai's running boot, tags Shotzi back in. We get a sling blade and a senton onto Kai as she's sort of sitting against the ropes. Drop toe hold, elbow drop, moonsault combo by the baby faces. Cloverleaf by Shotzi. As Dakota Kai tries to get to the ropes, Gonzalez finally just drops to the floor, reaches into the ring, grabs Dakota Kai and drags her over to break the hold and then also tag herself in. A bit later on, Moon takes down Gonzalez with kicks and punches before a double knee to Gonzalez's ribs. We get a code breaker by Ember Moon. Boot by Gonzalez. She tags in Kai before gorilla pressing Moon. Fireman's face buster by Shotzi to Kai for 2. Is nice to learn that name from, I forget who actually said it on the broadcast, but it was nice because now I know. All 4 are briefly in the ring. Gonzalez is sent out. Moon puts Kai in some sort of cool submission. I'm not quite sure what it was, to be honest. Eventually, Gonzalez has to return, but Moon counters the choke bomb from her into a cutter. With Gonzalez out, Moon and Shotzi...
Wasn't it like countered like... You're talking about like the power bomb, right? The one-arm power bomb?
Yeah.
She countered that into like a stunner. They're like, oh, it was an eclipse. No. And I'm like, no, it wasn't.
Because the key... I think like the eclipse has to come off the ropes, right? That's,
right,
like,
and it's
part
like
of it.
It's like the flippy doodad part is kind of what makes it the eclipse, and so that was just like a stunner thing.
It definitely was.
Could have passed it off as a Stun Dog Millionaire. I mean, it's a terrible name, but you could have done that.
Moon and Shotzi hit their finisher, which I forget.
So, like, basically Moon has her in, like, the position. So, basically Moon hits a Dominator and Shotzi does little to nothing. That's not even me being mean. That's literally,
facts.
like... Yeah, like, she literally, like, runs so right. Picture Moon kind of holding, Kai, probably, right? She's not lifting Gonzalez.
No.
In the Dominator position, right? Like, kind of like powerbomb, but, like, over her shoulder, right? And so Shotzi runs the ropes, and she kind of runs, like, kind of grabs Kai's head, not really, and, like, pulls her down as Moon hits the Dominator.
Guides her to the floor.
Right. It's not even me being mean. Shotzi basically does nothing in that move.
Well, it did enough to get the pin here. They pin Dakota Kai.
Yeah, it's Bobby Lashley's finisher.
They win and retain. Gonzalez attacks after the match. Powerbomb Shotzi into the fence and into the ring post, which I thought the post-match beatdown was pretty good. She then gorilla presses her, drops her across the barricade while telling Ember she's next, but then she sort of leaves Ember and
You're next.
She and Dakota Kai back slowly up the ramp. What'd you think of the match, the aftermath?
I don't want to see them versus the Way again, though.
Where else is it going to go, right?
I guess. I don't want to see that.
I don't know who else is a tag team. I mean, you've got Catanzaro and Carter. Tian Sha?
Yeah, but I would never believe Carter and Catanzaro winning.
No, not currently.
I
of
think
course not.
Lee and Shaw are, I don't know.
Robert Stonebrand. Like, it's all, there's like, what, 3 teams at the top, and then a whole bunch way down at, not a whole bunch, but the rest way down at the bottom. I know we talked about it
before, but now that I'm really thinking about it, this division sucks.
It's not great. I mean, they at least have some teams, but I feel like there's a big divide between.
Literally,
there's no mid-card.
The only 3 teams I think of are the Way, the team I don't like, and Kai and Gonzalez.
And then there's a couple
I guess
teams.
The Robert Stonebrand, sort of, maybe, kind of.
That's what I'm saying. You've got lower card and upper card and nothing else.
Right, but then the upper card, I feel like it's 3 teams,
and you're not
which
satisfied
doesn't really work.
With most of the upper card.
Right.
Anyways, what'd you think of the match?
So I thought the match was fine. It wasn't great or terrible necessarily. I thought Shotzi's offense though didn't look effective, and I think the role she played in her tag finisher seemed basically non-existent. Yeah. And that again, that's not me just hating Shotzi. That's like, I don't know, you could say that, right? Like,
yeah, it's just, not. She's not doing a lot.
She didn't really do anything. I wish they had a better finisher.
Yep.
Moon had a few good moves, I remember. And Kai and Gonzalez did as good as they could with these opponents. A fine match. I would expect better from openers, though, and the next match, I think, should have been the opener.
I thought this was a good opening match, actually, and I really liked the beatdown afterward. I mean, compliment to Shotzi, right? She wrestled clean this match. There was no sloppiness, no botch. I thought the match had a decent pace to it.
Yeah.
I was happy to see Gonzalez clearly stay a heel after the match for attacking Shotzi, because I've been a bit worried, right?
Like, I think when she says that Moon's next or whatever, that can't be the case, because wouldn't Moon and Shotzi be challenging the Way? And I don't think they're going to have Moon pull double duty for
Maybe
no
she's
reason.
just going to randomly attack Ember Moon to further the tag team. I don't know.
Maybe after this.
I thought the beatdown looked pretty awesome, and it made Gonzalez look like a monster, even though they just lost, right? So I kind of like that move.
Yeah, that's always a smart move.
I didn't love that Dakota Kai was the weak link, but she kind of has to be, right? What are you going to do?
Right.
Your tag team partner is the champion who is like a powerhouse.
Right.
So.
As much as I don't like that either, I think I think we can agree it does kind of make sense here at least,
Yep.
right?
But I like the opener, actually.
Yeah.
So next we get a little bit of Ciampa and Thatcher speaking as they're sort of sitting somewhere backstage, I guess. Ciampa says that they made a mistake and put the cart before the horse. Clearly, the grizzled young veterans had different plans for them, but that's okay because there's many different paths to the same destination, referring to the tag team titles. They're sort of on a detour now from MSK to the veterans, I guess. And there will be a round 3. Ciampa storms off and Thatcher's just kind of standing there smiling. Then he says he's going to enjoy ripping off their limbs. And I think this is when Ciampa then comes and knocks the seats over and they sort of knock over some furniture before it's over.
I think so.
What did you think?
I really like this. It was just serious and straightforward, but I think these guys are really good.
Yeah, I kind of
like
said that
that.
too. There wasn't a lot going on here, but it was still just a cool little promo. I like.
Right.
Again, I like these two together.
Yeah, I really liked it.
It's not the most creative setup for a third match, but it's fine. I think this is straightforward wrestling
I would
stuff,
like
right?
some sort of small stipulation, even if it's like
sure.
2 or 3 falls or something like that.
Yep.
I would like something.
Yeah, but we like these guys together. I don't know how many people do, but we do. We then get a Dunn and Fish sort of video package reminding us of their history and that the match will be next. And I put, yeah, right, because it's never. I talked about it last week. It's never next. So next we get Finn Balor is shown outside bringing his luggage in, and then they cut to.
I don't know if that can be considered as a segment, right? So
it's not really.
You could argue that the match is still kind of next.
And then they show Cross and Scarlett. They're walking in the building. They're just inside the building. So just again showing us the competitors in the main event tonight. And then we gotta document every arrival to the arena. As long as they have a
suitcase. If we don't see it on camera, how are we supposed to know if they've showed up?
And Cross got away with it because he didn't have luggage, but he was technically in the building already. It's only when you're in the parking lot.
And he has a championship, so I can kind of give that a pass.
As soon as you get in the building, you hand off your luggage to somebody. I think that's how it works.
That would make sense. I could see that happening.
We then do get Pete Dunne with Oney Lorcan accompanying him versus Bobby Fish.
Who has a new theme. It's pretty generic, but I think it wasn't generic bad. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was kind of similar to O'Reilly's, ish.
Fish kicks out Dunn's legs early and lands some strikes. We get a big forearm by Dunn to turn the tide. He starts pulling at Fish's face right away. Dunn attacks the left ankle of Fish and lands punches and a stomp. Dunn then attacks the left arm that Fish has had repaired. I think he's just coming back from it was arm issues, right?
I think so.
So obviously Pete Dunne's going to attack that. Fish counters into
I think he would probably attack it regardless.
He would. Well, one of the first things he does is go ripping at your face. Like that's Pete Dunne, right? Fish counters into an armbar. Fish drops Dunn arm first on the top rope, sends him to the floor, heading into commercial. Dunn has Fish in a submission after the break, and he transitions into a double leg lock, slaps Fish across the back repeatedly. We get a flurry by Bobby Fish, ending with a spine buster. Sleeper by Fish, but Dunn manages to grab his fingers and starts working on those. We get double knees to Fish's bad arm. Fish escapes to the floor. Dunn gets backdropped on the floor and run into the barricade. Enziguri by Dunn, a standing Kimura that Fish escapes by suplexing Dunn into the ropes. That I always like. I feel like it's a dangerous thing, but it looks awesome when it happens.
Right, because they are cables, not actual ropes.
And it's just like, I think when you're going backwards and you can't see, and you're not exactly, like, you kind of know where...
I think it's probably even more dangerous than the turnbuckles, because the turnbuckles kind of like, they kind of like pad you and like stop your thing, but the ropes will kind of ricochet you off.
And when you're going to the ground, you kind of know where the ground and the floor is. You can anticipate it, but I don't think you might not be quite sure how far you are from the ropes. Anyway.
Yeah, and I think the ropes will kind of ricochet you off, whereas I think the turnbuckles might be a little
absorb
better.
You. Yeah. Dunn fires up with a suplex and a kick. We get an armbar exchange, and Dunn transitions into the bitter end for the win. Lorcan attacks Fish after the match, runs him into the turnbuckles before stepping on his arm.
I was thinking, so Bobby Fish returned right and helped out O'Reilly. Where's O'Reilly here? Like, I get they're doing their own things, but have the decency to help out your friend.
So he's stepping on Fish's arm as it kind of hangs over from the apron, which was kind of cool, and Dunn's just kind of standing there watching. What did you think of the match and the aftermath?
So I think both of these guys are great technical wrestlers and strikers. I think they meshed well. I like this as a good TV match. I think this should have been the opener because I think this is much better. There's always never in doubt. Not necessarily a bad thing, though. I think this is a good, short, little TV match.
Yeah, I think that's really fair. I thought it was a good match with a cool little story, right? You've got a guy back from injury, against a guy who knows how to attack it in a million different ways and will if he can, right? Fish looked really good here in the loss, I think, and Dunn gets a quality win because he needs to continue momentum as he's kind of positioned at the top of the card right now, right? This might be the role for Fish for now, and I think that's fine, right? As he's kind of the have a good match with me on your way up the card or to maintain your spot or whatever, and he's probably not going to win much.
Oh no!
But he looked good, so
I missed
thought it was good.
Oh no!
We then get a little segment where they're showing headlines from all over the place documenting Reed's North American title win. And
yes, as they love to do when someone wins big on anything.
And they're going to sort of tell us we're going to hear from him later. They're really working hard to put him over as a babyface. Like they're clearly investing some time and effort in making him a big time. I'll get into it later. He's kind of like a throwback babyface to me.
Maybe they just want Swerve to look like a major dirtbag when he wins.
Well, hopefully. Mercedes Martinez is walking down a hall.
Or somebody else.
She tells us that she took Gonzalez to the limit, and now she is about to start her road to redemption tonight since she didn't beat Gonzalez, I guess.
No offense to her, but I don't think she did take Gonzalez.
That match was a bit disappointing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and I don't think she took her to the limit.
Boa is seen sort of down the hall in the distance in the background, and I guess we sort of get a glimpse of what's next for Xia Li, apparently, and I just have, let's see how we get there, because this wasn't it was a straightforward thing by Martinez, right?
I wonder if they'll ever do anything with Tian Sha, because
I don't know.
She hasn't done anything. Or Boa, Boa hasn't done anything. What about Boa?
They put the brakes on that whole storyline for quite a while, right?
Like, honestly, it's like Lee did some stuff, right? And then it halted, which was kind of odd. But Boa literally has done nothing, which I think is a little more odd, because, they were both... If it was going to focus on Lee, Boa wouldn't have been in those, when they were, getting disciplined.
It was clearly
and whatnot.
Both of them.
Right, so then that begs the question, why is Boa not doing anything? Right?
And I, me, I love a slow burn of a story, but this is beyond that. This is you dropped it for a while,
right?
And now
It's not a slow burn. It's not like they're being smart about. No, they just
snuffed it out and relit it, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Or in the process of relighting it.
But the wick is wet, so it's not catching right now. But anyways, we'll see where it goes. We then get Hit Row, which is you can't miss with them. Basically, Hit Row knows this is the land of opportunity and it's time to go gold.
I remember when they called SmackDown that after the 2016 draft.
They're watching the champions and are ready to put an L on their heads, like they're Mario's brother. A little video game shot there, I guess. Everyone is on notice, and if you don't know now, you know, kind of their standard thing. I can't do it justice. They're awesome. What did you think?
Yeah, I really liked it. It was just a short little thing, but that's all I need.
Yep. They each got a turn. So I was sort of summarizing. They each got a turn to sort of speak and rhyme. Most of it was really awesome. I thought a couple lines missed. But overall, the vibe is undeniable, right? They're just really cool.
They're just cool.
And I'm looking forward to them every time this week. Even if they're only getting one segment like this for a minute or whatever, that's fine. I think keep them on TV.
Instead of the Way getting 5,000 segments,
give a couple of these guys.
You give the Hit Row a little more.
I would agree. I'd love that. We then get Mercedes Martinez sort of building up her credibility again, starting down at the bottom. No offense with Zeta Ramir. Martinez toys with Ramir early and then ends up sort of getting caught with a flurry of offense because she was not taking it seriously enough. There was a little bit of an awkward exchange, and then we get some strikes and a kick by Ramir for 2. Martinez is in control with 3 double underhook suplexes in a row for a 2 count. Dragon Sleeper by Martinez. Ramir escapes with a quick roll up, but Martinez hits a big spine buster. Martinez then has Ramir on her back, and Martinez just runs her into the turnbuckle, tosses her off the top rope before hitting a nice running knee, and a big air raid crash for the win. The lights go out, smoke sort of fills the ring, ominous music plays, Xia Li's logo thingamajigger is up on the Tron.
No, wasn't it Tian Sha that was on the Tron?
Oh, what? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Lights go back to normal, and of course...
I thought they were actually going to attack her and do something, but why would I assume
We never actually see any of them, but when the lights come back on, Mercedes Martinez has that mark on her hand that has been part of their storyline since the beginning. You didn't notice?
No.
Oh, yeah, so no one comes out, nothing happens, and she looks down and she's got that little mark on her hand.
I don't understand how she would get that then.
Exactly.
Witchcraft!
You're not supposed to. That's the whole point.
I've understood it. It's witchcraft.
What did you think? Other than the witchcraft.
Decent squash, nothing much to say. I'm interested to see, I guess, why Tian Sha and friends are interested in Martinez. But
yeah.
it seems kind of out of the blue. And if Tion Shaw actually wrestles, I may be done with this because I feel like that would be stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
It's to the point where do I even care?
When it started, we were like, we're not sure what's going on, but it's interesting.
And
we really want to see it.
They cooled it off too much.
So now I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm a little less optimistic that it's going to go in a direction I like.
They just cooled it off for too long.
It still could. Rumours doesn't really impress me. She's very athletic for sure, but I think she needs a lot more experience. I haven't been super impressed with what she's done.
Like, she did shooting star press, and then now, like, I don't know.
I thought Mercedes' finishing sequence looked really good and a decisive win for her that she needs, obviously. The post-match stuff, like I'm saying, I don't really know how to feel. I need to see the result before I can decide either way. So
yeah, although I'm leaning towards the...
I'm not as optimistic as I was at one point, but it still could be cool. But again, it's leaning supernatural, which isn't my favorite unless it's well done.
I thought you really liked that.
Love it. Tony Storm is talking to Ted DiBiase. Robert Stonebrand, or according to my notes, the Robert Steinbrand, come up and talk. DiBiase just throws money to them and walks away as we head to commercial. I thought that was kind of funny. Like, he'd rather just give you money to go away than talk to you.
Right.
So, and again, Robert
especially if it's Robert Stonebrand.
Yep. Cross is punching a heavy bag as they smash us over the head with the main event a few more times here. We then get Cameron Grimes and the $1 Million face-off. So I wasn't sure what to expect with this at all, really. So
let's just say I was expecting better than what we got.
As he goes to speak, the $1 Million Man's theme hits. Sorry, what is it? $1 Million Man? I can't even get into that.
Well, $1 Million Man.
Yeah, my wife, the way she says $1 Million Man, we got off on
because she says it's like $1 Million Man.
She emphasizes the dollar and not the man. It's hard to even
$1 Million Man.
Yeah, $1 Million Man, but she's like $1 Million Man.
Right.
Or something. Anyways.
We don't need to get into that.
Yeah, no, we don't. She'll love that we made fun of her on the podcast today. She doesn't listen, don't worry. She's not a listener.
We could tell her.
As Grimes goes to speak, the $1 Million Man's theme hits. He walks to the ring, not in a tuxedo, which I thought was just... what's going on? Just in a regular suit. I don't know. I didn't like that part. But anyways, Grimes asks him why. Grimes says he wasn't always rich. And when he got rich and started to flaunt it a bit, DiBiase showed up and just outdid him every week. He looked up to Ted for teaching him that he can make people do terrible things for money, which I thought was funny, right? Because he starts out sounding sincere, like, I looked up to you, Ted. And then it's basically like, because you taught me that I can make people do terrible things for money. He says it's true that you should never meet your idols. DiBiase then asks if Grimes ever thought that maybe he did see himself in Grimes. He says he's looking for someone to carry the legacy, and it's not all about money. It's about in-ring performance, and Grimes has it. So then wouldn't that mean he's the guy because he has money and in-ring?
But no, we get...
He says Grimes has lost his focus since becoming rich, and LA Knight's music hits.
So it's about in-ring prowess, and then you bring out LA Knight.
Right.
So not exactly adding up, methinks.
Yeah, there's something wrong in this equation. Knight speaks, and he says he sees $1 million opportunity. He puts himself over and says he's certified gold. His promos now annoy me to the point where I just shorten them. I've noticed that. A lot of people's, I don't go word for word, but I really try and get. But he just says a lot of like catchphrase, smart alecky catchphrase, and there's not much substance there, so I end up just going, he puts himself over instead of like the 8 lines he used. Grimes tells Knight that he doesn't have enough money to get him in the ring with them, but DiBiase says to hear him out. Knight makes his pitch for the $1 Million legacy, and it's his game. DiBiase is aware of Knight and that he has been a success and he could be a megastar. Grimes interrupts the talk of Knight's $1 Million body, as that's what they were starting to talk about, and orders Knight to...
That's an odd sentence.
He tells him to leave or get his butt kicked to the moon. Grimes turns around and Knight attacks and hits a stunner and walks away. DiBiase stands over Grimes and asks...
actually just call it a stunner?
Wasn't it?
No, it was his cravat driver.
Oh.
But I think that proves our point that it's like Austin.
It is. Sorry.
No, I don't even blame you for that. It's so similar. Just at a glance, you would probably think that.
DiBiase stands over Grimes, asks if he'll ever get it before laughing and walking off with Knight. I guess the point is that this entire thing was a setup tonight.
Right. I guess maybe.
What did you think?
That maybe that can help Knight, I guess. I don't know.
So you didn't love this, I'm thinking.
No, it was fine, I
there
guess.
It is.
Grimes is good. I think he did good with the material, but the material wasn't great.
Give him chicken poop and ask him to make chicken salad is the phrase they used to use.
Which I think he just made
hard to
slightly
do.
better chicken poop.
Maybe.
I thought the beginning bit with DiBiase and Grimes was fine. And then LA Knight came in, which was just weird, and I don't know, the whole thing was just fine. I guess it was just kind of weird.
A lot of fines and weirds.
And I don't like the way this is going, because it kind of makes Grimes a sympathetic babyface, when I think he's supposed to be kind of like the hillbilly rich snob who gets embarrassed by DiBiase, and it's like, haha, not, I feel bad for him, you know?
It definitely makes Grimes babyfacey for sure.
Which I don't like.
I thought it was really long for starters.
Right, and I just feel like Grimes, his whole thing just doesn't scream baby. It's like the Inner Circle. It just doesn't work as a babyface.
It's because he gets laughs, right? So I think they feel like that's how they have to go, because
right,
he's funny.
But heels can be funny, though. You don't see them turning the way face, even though I'm telling you, turn Johnny Gargano face.
So if it's going to be long like this, then I need to love the payoff, and I didn't. LA Knight doesn't do much for me, and I'm not sure what he's going to get from an association with DiBiase, because Knight can talk at least, right? Like, I don't love his promo style, but he's very confident and can cut a promo, and isn't that kind of... Although DiBiase didn't seem great here in his promo, he seemed a little bit not so confident when he started it. But anyways... Grimes did come across as sympathetic here, and he seems to be leaning into his popularity, right? And because he's funny, so make him a babyface, I guess. We'll see.
Right, but I don't think just because he's funny, I don't think he has to be a babyface.
No, he doesn't. We then get Frankie Monet in a chair, sort of a view from behind as she's getting her makeup done. I think the dog was on her lap, probably. Mackenzie then wants to talk to Indy, but Indy is frantically looking for Dexter Lumis, but instead runs into Evereyes and Drake Maverick, who shows up a second later. Drake points her in a certain direction to go find Lumis. She goes, pulls a curtain, and finds all kinds of what I described as heartbroken artwork hanging everywhere.
Oh, right.
You're looking at me like, what's going on?
I remember now.
And then she screams Dexter and leaves.
I didn't even note this, but I remember now.
Oh, so you didn't even make note of it? And my first note is this felt like a waste of time to me. It wasn't funny. It wasn't amusing. Didn't really find it interesting.
I didn't even get it.
I think it's just not for me and not for us, I guess.
Indy's needs to be babyface. He's so much better.
Indy's trying hard. Like, we always say that, right? Like, she's really committing to doing what they're asking her to do. They're just asking her to do stuff that's not interesting, in my opinion. We then get the debut of Frankie Monet as she faces Cora Jade in a match now. Frankie taunts to start, takes a boot, but then quickly...
and I'd like to say her presentation entrance. They certainly make her look like a star.
They
right?
are. So. I thought so too. She takes a boot, but then battles back quickly with kicks of her own before slapping Cora Jade. We get a running knee, running hip attack to Jade in the corner. Sort of the Andrade style running double knee into the corner before stretching Jade across the rope and slapping her. Frankie's a bit too casual again and gets hit with a flurry before nailing Jade with a spear and a blue thunder bomb, and then right into the glam slam for the win.
And
what did
Beth
you think?
Phoenix is like, oh, that looks familiar. Yeah, way to be subtle, Beth.
I liked that, actually. That was kind of subtle, I thought. Instead of saying, that's my move or whatever, just saying it looks familiar. Because some people might not pick up what she's saying.
So I thought she looked fine, and she had a few good moves, like the spear and glam slam were pretty good, but I thought there was times where, like, she looked... I don't know if it was slow, but just like, I don't know, not the best. But I think for the most part, she looked good.
Yep.
And so I think there was some part where she didn't look as good, but I think for the most part, she looked good. I hope, like, she can get a better match and showcase her talent more. She is better than I think she was shown here. But I think she was good here, and her name sucks.
I'm not a huge... I'll get used to it and forget about it at some point.
I probably will, but I'm going to complain about it as long as I... remember to.
I like this match for what it was. I thought Monet looked strong, and really the only reason that Jade got any offense was because Frankie was too nonchalant, right? Which I liked, because like that's the only way someone low on the card can get any over on me is because I'm kind of goofing off a little bit. I thought she looked pretty fast and aggressive, and they presented her like a star, I think, which is nice to see.
And it's not like Toni Storm where she doesn't deserve her entrance.
A nice addition to a pretty loaded division, so it might be tough moving
around for her.
It's
odd how loaded
but
the singles women's division is, and then you look at the tag division.
Not as much. Grizzled Young Veterans then get a chance to speak. They say they are done with Thatcher and Ciampa, but not done with MSK. The tag team division needs them, and then they sort of disparage all the other teams quickly. They will soon be the tag team champions. I just thought standard Gibson stuff, which I always like, right? Just old school, to the point.
Yeah,
insulting.
they always have good promos,
Yeah.
I find. And by them, I usually mean Gibson. Although Drake is good when he says things.
Yeah, it's mostly Gibson.
He just says things last.
I doubt that Ciampa and Thatcher will be happy with this response, right? Which could lead to something entertaining, because they're basically like, no, we don't want to face you again.
We don't need to face you again.
So we'll see where it goes. Could be entertaining stuff ahead. We then see back to Bronson Reed sort of touting his win and showing tweets of praise from all over the place, and a few sound bites from interviews with him and about him, I think. And again, he'll be here live tonight. And again, another note that he's really getting the star treatment, and I think it might.
I feel like
it might work.
Do that.
They do.
Just people, although sometimes it feels odd. Like
I think they're doing well, actually. It feels really old school to me. Like he's like the say your prayers and eat your vitamins kind of anything is possible kind of baby face. Well, he literally, anyways, we'll get to that. It's coming up. He pretty much literally does that.
Yeah, just the vitamins thing.
I know that's obviously a reference to that guy, but
Hulk Hogan,
Kushida, and he doesn't need to be named on this podcast.
Terry Bollea.
There you go. Kushida and Bronson Reed bump fists while holding their titles backstage in just a brief moment we're shown. We then get a video where Walter is talking about Wolf's weakness hurting them for the last time, them being Imperium.
Them making excuses for his release.
They will start to right the wrongs, and it starts with the wrong of losing the tag team titles to Breezango.
So sorry, if that was such a big issue, why wouldn't you have amended that a year ago? Like, it was... Like, they lost the titles basically a year ago.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know.
I'm just waiting to finish my sentence, man.
Sorry, get on track, Walter.
Who are nothing more than showmen, basically, right? Like, he's like they're just a joke. They're not a serious...
I'm assuming you're agreeing with
and
that.
More of that, yeah, I am. To them, the mat is sacred, that sort of thing. What did you think of this brief little... And for a bunch of it, he was not speaking English as well, just so I'm clear.
It was good. I think, I don't know, it was just mostly like, they were like, this is why this guy got released, and whatnot, which I guess is fine. They kind of have to, but and I guess this is them kind of going, like, having a direction now, but a little late to that.
Yeah, I like this though. Walter's believable, right? And his thing is really simple. He just loves wrestling so much he doesn't appreciate other people who don't.
It's almost like the Foundation with the
people who don't take it seriously enough.
Although
right?
less like pure wrestling, like respecting things.
His is more professional wrestling, which I don't know. Anyways, he's awesome. I thought this was a good little segment. So Bronson Reed comes out in a suit to celebrate his title win. He gets a bunch of applause and whatnot from the fans. He has some nice words about climbing a mountain and falling and getting up for 14 years. He is proof that people shouldn't take no for an answer and work hard. This is the old school baby face stuff, right? Like, just follow your dreams and work really hard.
It wasn't too crowd pandering.
No, I liked it. It's fun. I think it's good, and there's room for a baby face like this, and it's really hard to make a baby face like this.
When it's a realistic journey like that, I guess it works better.
And good luck to anyone trying to take this title. Basically, they're in for a colossal challenge, he says. And then, of course, he gets interrupted by Legado del Fantasma.
Which I was very happy about, because that means Escobar is ditching the cruiserweights.
That's right. Moving on up. Santos Escobar says that Reed brought tears to his eyes, but he can't relate to anything Reed just said. He says that he himself was born a champion, and wrestling is in his blood, and the North American Championship belongs to him. As North American champion, he can represent the United States and Mexico, but then they throw in a little joke there, Joaquin Wilde, insisting that Canada doesn't count. Aw, poor us.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. Not nice.
And he's going to take what is his. That's Escobar. Legado then
Even though he's never touched the title before at all, so that sentence doesn't exactly track.
Legado then surround Bronson Reed, but out come MSK to even the odds, and we get double super kicks, and Reed runs over somebody with a body block just to sort of clear the heels from the ring. And what did you think?
I thought Reed was good. It was the generic kind of fight for your dreams and whatnot shtick, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm really happy to see Escobar in this title scene.
Yep. I like this a lot, and I like the story that they're building, because like I said, Reed feels like an old school mega baby face who's about hard work and dedication and perseverance. And then I liked Escobar coming in, and he's basically like the ultra talented, everything came easy to him. He's a natural and he's never had to work hard, right? That's what he's saying. Like, I can't relate to what you're saying, because I'm just so
I'm
damn
better than you.
talented. I don't have to work that
Right.
hard, right? So you've got a guy who cherishes the title and has worked hard for it versus the guy that just feels entitled to it. And I love that simple dynamic, right? It's really easy and straightforward, and I think it works.
Feud. And then so I know might be a little below him now, but I honestly think I would be kind of okay with Swerve in the cruiserweight division because I feel like he could rule that division at least for the time being.
He could have a run like Escobar did.
Right, I think.
It's just that there's not that many interesting challengers.
Right, but I think. Yes, maybe, but I think you could maybe build some. You've got some new guys on.
Sure, you could. You could also
right,
train
you've got
a
some
unicorn.
new guys on 205 Live, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But I think because Escobar, I think you're right. The heel face dynamic does work really well here. It's very simple, but it works well. And then so that makes me think I would really want Escobar to come out on top. Although now that I think about it, maybe Scott can be in this division because I feel like with that simple dynamic comes this will be Reed's like. The classic, like you said, he's the classic babyface going over the mean, cocky heel, right? And then maybe Scott will still be the one to... Maybe this will just be like a first feud for Reed before he drops to Swerve
I
then?
thought Reed was maybe going to be transitional, but now seeing the amount of attention they're putting on him, I don't think they'll take it off him very quickly, so...
I think maybe this will be like the first feud, and maybe he gets another feud, and then I think... Bottom line, I think they need to get the title to Swerve one way or another.
And I think they're building a good babyface in Reed, so I like this segment quite a bit.
I think they're building a good heel in Scott.
Sure, that too. But he's not involved in this segment at all. So Finn Balor's getting ready for his match as we head to commercial, and then Regal announces next week Kyle O'Reilly versus Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano will determine who gets the NXT title shot at TakeOver.
Like he knows what I want.
So I've been really happy with both NXT and Dynamite sort of having things planned in advance,
I'm
right?
kind of sad there's no Adam Cole in that, but that's okay.
It's evidence of effort and planning that they're like, hey, we already know what's on next week and maybe even sometimes the week after that. So that's pretty cool. I like it.
I think Dynamite's more the one where there's 2 weeks notice. But
and Impact actually too sometimes.
Right. But NXT's doing a good job of at least the next week, and that's all you can really ask for, I guess. Like, can't expect them to go like in 2 weeks. Like sometimes they do like Cross and Balor, right?
They do.
But like, they do a good job of that. I think NXT, sorry.
That's okay.
More as of late, I think AEW's been pretty consistent with that.
It's just nice because, I don't know, you have stuff to look forward to. Like, we literally talk about when we go out on our walk sometimes, like, okay, what's on Dynamite tonight? Or what's on whatever this week, right? And you can actually sort of be like, oh, yeah, that should be good and that should be good. It's nice to be able to have those conversations.
Right, it's like when I say things, did they live up to expectations? Can't really do that when things are being formed on Raw as... You're watching.
As they walk into the building, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
When Vince is tearing up the script and whatnot.
So we get the main event, which is Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross 2 for the NXT Championship. So right away, Balor tries to kick Kross's legs, but he gets hit with a shoulder tackle instead. We get a knee to Balor's midsection. Kross throws him to the floor. Back in the ring, drop kick to Kross's leg, and then Kross needs to escape to the floor for a minute. After a commercial, Kross... ends an armbar with a body slam, just kind of picks him up and slams him. Runs Finn into the turnbuckle, hits 2 corner clotheslines. Balor is down. Suplex by Kross. There's kind of a lull in the action here as Kross does some basic stuff, and then a lengthy...
Kross? Basic?
A lengthy sleeper hold with Kross jacket or whatever, probably.
How dare you? Never.
We get a counter into an abdominal stretch by Finn, who then drops himself repeatedly on Kross's lower back. Kross is back in control in the corner with spears to Balor's back before a big running kick to Balor's spine. Huge Beal by Kross and a deadlift German suplex. Balor counters another German suplex attempt into a crossface. Balor's has a kick that's caught, but he rolls through, hits a jumping double stomp to Kross's midsection. Chops by Balor, but Kross targets his back again and throws him to the floor. Kross follows Balor. Balor fires up, traps Kross in the ring skirt, hits a running punt to the head, heading into another commercial break. Forearm exchange, Kross puts Balor over his shoulder, runs him into the turnbuckles before hitting a power slam for a 2 count. Finn Balor keeps attacking Kross, and Kross just kind of keeps coming forward, is kind of the story of this as it goes on, that Balor just is frantically fighting, but Kross just keeps kind of moving ahead and coming at him. Double stomp is countered into a Kross jacket. Balor has to get to the ropes to break it. Back outside again, Kross rams Balor into the barricade multiple times before a razor's edge sort of into the fence. We get a powerbomb countered into a DDT once back in the ring by Balor. Sling blade, clothesline over the top by Balor. So Balor dives over the ropes onto Cross, who hops right up and picks Balor up and drops him on the announce table. It was kind of Blue Thunder Bomb-ish, but not really. He just kind of drops him, right? He doesn't like sit out or anything, obviously. Balor attacks as Cross tries to get back in the ring. Shotgun dropkick. Balor goes up top. Coup de grace misses. Cross hits another German suplex. Saito suplex. Cross signals for his finisher, but gets caught in a roll-up for a 2 count. Forearms to the back of Balor's neck as he's lying on the ground, but he escapes, kind of counters it, and does the same to Cross. Then we get a sleeper applied by Balor as he transitions it into a triangle. Cross powers out and hits the powerbomb, and that was a note I started writing before he even did it, because of course that's the only way he's getting out of that. Clothesline by Cross. He hits the forearm to the back, stomps Balor's head.
Doesn't follow through again, just doesn't work.
Cross jacket. Balor is out, and the referee has to call for the bell. So Balor didn't submit, but he passed out. Cross retains. Thoughts?
So this may be kind of a controversial opinion, but so this match was, I guess, good. But
Begrudgingly, I guess.
But I didn't like it. I don't like.
That's
it wasn't
fine,
a
dude.
bad
You don't have
match,
to
but
like be. It's not like consensus. You're allowed to have your opinion.
No, I know. Cross just, I don't think he's good. The majority of his offense doesn't look effective and hardly has impact. His Saito suplexes are the only thing left, I really think.
They are nice.
And I think that's something anyone could do as long as they, like, know what they're doing, right?
Right.
Even his sleeper hold variant, the cross jacket, doesn't look good because, like, you know, he does, like, he insists on having his hand to his ear like that.
And you're just...
It loses its effect, right? Because you're supposed to, like, kind of, like, have it in your arm and you put your other hand on the back of their head to put more pressure, right?
For me, it's you're a big, huge, powerful dude. How about a finisher where you're not lying on the mat holding his head?
Right.
Like, have something devastating.
But, like, I just think, like, it takes away some of the effects. Like, you're just doing, for what? To look for the gimmick? Like, just do a normal sleeper. It looks more effective. And I think just makes the choke look less effective. Balor did good here, but he's fighting a losing battle, literally and figuratively. And the match was just okay, in my opinion. I think it was a good enough match, but I would expect better from title matches in NXT in general. So it's weird because it's like, it wasn't bad. Like, it was, I guess you could say it's good. Like, I could see a lot of people liking it.
But
I did not.
I'm about to say I thought it was really good.
Really?
I thought it was a really good match. Easily my favorite Cross match in NXT.
Yeah.
He showed a bit more diverse and crisp offense, I thought. And he seemed to be working a little bit faster as well than he does at sometimes. Balor got plenty of time to look good as well. I'm sure he had a lot to do with Cross looking good. I bet you.
Balor is really good.
Yeah. I would have preferred a different result just because I'm not a huge Cross fan, but I have to admit this match was really good. It kind of gives me a little bit of hope for Cross as a champion because I thought this was a very strong match. So I don't like his character, and a lot of his matches haven't done much for me. I thought this one was really good. I thought it was a really good main event. So we differ a bit on that one, but that's okay. What did you think of the show overall?
So the opener was meh. Not really a fan. Chelsea's offense is just not good. And some of her moves make no sense and look like they do nothing, like that weird cannonball thingy she does when the person's on the ropes.
Yeah.
That looks dumb. Champion Thatcher's promo was serious, intense, straightforward, and I think it was really good. Fish and Dunn was a great little TV match. That would be like if one of them was TV champion. That would be like your ideal, like, short little defense.
Yep.
It would have been a perfect opener in my opinion. Hit Row's promo was great. I think they're just too cool. Like, they're awesome. Great. Martinez got a good victory. It was just straightforward. And $1 Million Face-Off was okay, but lacked the humor of Grimes' previous efforts, in my opinion. Frankie Monet looked pretty good in her debut. I'm interested to see more. And Grizzly Young Veterans and Imperium both got some good promo segments. Reed did well as well in his promo. I wish it was a little more, like, less generic, because it was just like he's been fighting. It was good, but like I would like a little more, like, I don't know, just like, I feel like you could, like, they do that a lot, you know.
Yeah.
But it was good, but I would like something a little more different, I guess.
Okay.
I'm happy with Escobar finally getting into the North American division now. Escobar and Swerve both seem perfect to be the North American champ. I really like them both. Either way, it'll be great. I think I might slightly prefer Scott because he's got that. I just think his gimmicks, it's fresh and it's awesome.
Yeah.
I honestly think maybe Escobar can wait because I think Scott is hot right now. So if Reed drops it soon-ish, like maybe in like the next couple months, then I think it'll be Scott.
Yeah.
Anyways, Balor versus Cross, what I would like to say under-delivered, but based on what I've seen from Cross, it unfortunately matched the expectations.
Right.
Wasn't bad, but I just think Cross isn't great, so it wasn't to my liking.
I thought he was good there.
I would like better from NXT. Overall, not my favorite show, but I can see some others liking it, so I would give it a B-. So not necessarily bad, but I did.
Right.
Like, it wasn't my favorite.
Fair enough. I thought it was a fairly strong show in ring, especially the opener. I liked Fish Dunn match. I liked Monet's debut. I thought was good for what it was, and I thought the main event was really good. The only miss kind of in ring was the Martinez Ramirez was the low point for me. I thought segment wise, Grimes $1 Million Man was a miss for me. Hartwell's brief little thing I didn't like either. Hit Row was awesome. Walter's little promo thing was good. Thatcher Ciampa good. Reed a Legato encounter was really good. So things I liked and things I didn't like. But if this makes sense, I liked the stuff I liked a lot more than I disliked the few things I disliked, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. Like the pros outweighed the cons.
Yeah, and yeah, so I disliked a few things, but I don't feel that strongly about it. But
right,
I liked,
like you didn't dislike them as much as the things you enjoyed the things. I made it worse.
So I am going to give the show a B+. I actually thought it was a really good show this week. So that wraps up NXT, and will bring us into the next segment. I'm going to see if Jack knows anything about wrestling in...
Which you said you were looking forward to.
Yeah, I am. And we call that Off the Top of His Head. So I went with Double or Nothing trivia. Trivia. AEW Double
That's
or
odd.
Nothing
There's only 2
trivia.
events.
I know, so I had to dig deep. Some of them are easy for sure. But, I mean, none of them are easy for me because I don't remember anything.
I think the first Double or Nothing will be really tricky because, like, that wasn't even, like, really AEW because it was, like, they had so many just random things because, like, they didn't have, like, Dynamite or anything yet, right? They weren't, like, full-fledged, like, literally the first thing AEW did.
So let's talk about it.
But let's go.
So I made these questions. I didn't just borrow a quiz as I do if I can, but I got into... It's from Wikipedia, so there may be some mistakes, but you'll tell me. So first question from 2019 event first. There's a bunch of questions about that
Alrighty.
one. The inaugural Double or Nothing event took place on May 25th, 2019 in what American state?
Las Vegas.
Wow, I thought for
Nevada?
sure. Yeah,
I think
Nevada's.
MGM Grand Arena or something.
I thought that was one you wouldn't know, but it is in fact Nevada, the MGM Grand Arena in Paradise, Nevada, actually. So you're technically wrong.
Nevada, whatever.
I did ask for state, and you got it right. AEW president and CEO Tony Khan referred to Double or Nothing as one of AEW's Big Four. What are the other 3 of the Big Four? Pay-per-views.
All Out.
Correct.
Revolution.
Correct.
Full Gear.
Correct.
But those are the only 4 pay-per-views they do.
Oh, I don't know.
I just realized.
Buddy, I'm just making questions, all right? I don't.
No, because I thought of like they did Fyter Fest, right? The first year.
Yeah, they don't.
It was a free pay-per-view, and then there's like they usually do TV specials.
Yeah, which I don't know if those. I think he's counting those, and that's what he's saying. The 4 big ones are the ones that are
actual pay-per-views.
Right. What was the first match on the buy-in at the first Double or Nothing?
Ooh.
So the buy-in.
Oh, Sammy Guevara and Kip Sabian.
No.
Damn it. That was on there, I think. The Casino Battle Royal.
Correct.
Yes. Okay, I was gonna say that, but then I was like, I remember that match.
Who won the Battle Royal?
Hangman.
Yes, correct. And at what spot did he enter the Battle Royal?
21.
Which is?
The Joker.
And yeah, the last
or Blackjack
spot, right?
or whatever.
Yeah, you're right.
I remember.
Who did Paige eliminate last to win?
MJF.
Correct.
Really? Nice.
Yeah.
I remember he was supposed to face somebody. He was supposed to face Pac, but creative disputes, and then he entered that, and I know he won because he faced Jericho, remember?
That might be a question coming up.
What?
Who competed in the second match of the buy-in in 2019?
Kip Sabian, Sammy Guevara.
Correct. Who won?
Kip Sabian.
Correct.
Yeah.
I know that's rare, but he actually did win.
That's all nice.
Which international tag team no longer appearing for AEW competed against SCU in a 6-man tag in the opening match?
Strong Hearts.
And can you name them?
Chima, T-Hawk, El Lindemann.
Oh, wow. I knew you'd get Strong Hearts. I wasn't sure you'd get the names correct. The next match was scheduled to be a triple threat between Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, and Kylie Ray, But before the match, Brandy Rhodes announced a fourth competitor. Who was it?
She wanted to make the match awesome, so she brought out Awesome Kong.
Correct.
And then that would eventually lead to the Nightmare Collective, and we all know that was great.
That was amazing. This one I didn't know. Didn't remember. During Cody's match against his brother Dustin, who removed Brandy from the match after she was thrown out by the referee?
Arn Anderson.
No.
Tully Blanchard.
No. Not somebody that appears on Dynamite.
Security guy.
No. It's an actual former wrestler. Famous one.
Heath Slater.
No.
I don't know.
WCW?
Raven. Diamond Dallas.
Correct. I gave him the Diamond Cutter logo.
Diamond Dallas.
Diamond Cutter greater than RKO. Correct.
No.
Last one for 2019.
You sound like Randy Orton.
What was the main event? What were the stakes? Who won?
Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho. Winner would be in the AEW title match at All Out.
Against
Paige,
Correct.
who won the Battle Royal. Chris Jericho won. And then John Moxley debuted after the match and attacked them both.
Right. Now moving into 2020, so last year.
Right.
Which tag teams wrestled in the first match of the buy-in, and what were the stakes?
Jurassic Express?
No.
Dark Order?
No.
SCU?
No. Tag teams on the buy-in for
Varsity
some sort
Blondes.
of stakes. Nope. Think of Orange Cassidy.
Best Friend.
Versus?
Proud and Powerful.
No. Right. Starting letters and sounds. Think Matt Hardy now, I guess. Private Party.
Private Party.
For number 1 contendership.
Knew it.
A 9-person specialty match opened the actual show. What type of match was it? And who were the 9 competitors?
Casino ladder match.
Correct.
Brian Cage.
Correct.
Darby Allin.
Correct.
Scorpio Sky.
Correct.
Orange Cassidy.
Correct.
You've
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left.
Lance Archer?
No.
No, he was in another match.
Somebody who was in a match on Dynamite this week who hasn't been in a while. Indie Darling. Faced Hangman.
Joey Janela.
Correct. Kazarian, Cabana, Luchasaurus.
Yeah.
And a mystery entrant.
Which
was Cage, yeah.
Who won?
That was the next question. Who won the match? What did he get for winning?
Title shot against the AEW champion, which was at Fyter Fest.
Correct. Cody faced Lance Archer for the new TNT championship, or I think to be the first
champion
holder of.
It was the tournament final.
Who presented Cody with the championship after winning?
Mike Tyson with his crappy face tattoo.
Correct. Here's a tough one, I thought. Who competed in the women's match on the card that was not for the AEW women's title? That's tough. I think. You're drawing a total blank, eh? It's hard.
I know there was a title match,
Yeah.
but I know what that was.
Think Kip Sabian.
Penelope Ford
Versus?
Chris Statlander.
Correct.
Nailed it.
Who did John Moxley choke out to retain his title in the penultimate show of this match? Match of this show.
R.I.P. Mr. Brody Lee.
R.I.P. Mr. Brody Lee's correct. What type of match was the main event and who competed in it? Easy.
Inner Circle and the Elite.
Yep.
Stadium Stampede,
Correct.
mother trucker.
How did the main event end? Second last question.
Kenny Omega hit a one-winged angel to Sammy Guevara through a crash pad thing.
Yeah, from stadium seats through a platform below, right? Last one for fun.
And Sammy almost hit a hard surface.
Which crusty old man with a wrestling podcast said this about the Stadium Stampede match? I am ashamed of everyone involved. If this is what wrestling is now, it needs to die.
Jim Cornette.
I'm embarrassed to be involved with these people and this industry. Yes, Jim Cornette. What a tool. Honestly.
It's funny that I could guess that, too.
Honestly, it's one thing to not like it, but to go to the extreme of, just kill the industry. People could like different things than you, man. It's just he's ridiculous. He's just a parody of himself at this point. Anyways, yep, that was. So there wasn't a lot of information for me to draw from, but I thought try and get it done since it is that pay-per-view is coming up tomorrow, right? So good job. That finishes the trivia portion and brings us back to another review where we're going to take a look at what we just watched last night, so it'll be nice and fresh in our minds. And
that'll be kind of cool at least.
Is this week's AEW Dynamite.
And so they have fans back now.
That was nice.
Right? I was surprised. And they got their old Daily's Place set up with, like, the diagonal ramp, and they got, like, the Tron that's in the, behind the section of the fans.
Yeah, I don't think I knew there was fans either. It was definitely nice to see, for sure.
I knew there was going to be some at Double or Nothing.
There was a lot, too, it seemed
Yeah,
like. I don't know if it's full capacity, but it might have been. I don't know.
I remember they've done shows here before, and this is what it usually
looked like. Yeah. So it looked like full capacity to you. It was a nice surprise, for sure.
Right.
Goodness, it's been a while.
I really didn't expect this as the opener, but we got Darby versus Cesar Bononi.
It's funny because we were talking about it on the walk, right? Like what could be the opener, and this was not. This was not on the radar.
To assume it would have been Paige and Janela because it's freaking Adam Page.
Or the tag match, right? Is what were our two guesses.
I would think we were more leaning to that as the main event, but that could have been the opener as well. Yes, that was a contender.
Bit of a surprise.
But they were happy to see Darby. I guess he is a crowd popper.
Yep.
So start with Rapid Strikes by Darby.
That's actually a good point. They'd have a crowd back, and he's one of the favorites.
I think Paige would have been more, and that would have been probably a better match to start with.
Yeah, that's true too.
Rapid Strikes by Darby. Bononi shoves off a Fujiwara armbar attempt. Corner rib punches by Bononi, and a body slam toss by Bononi, and another one. Darby gets dumped on the top turnbuckle and falls to the entrance ramp. Darby's tossed back in the ring for 2. Sleeper hold by Darby. Pop over center by Darby, a shotgun drop kick, and the coffin drop for the win.
Yeah, I thought, honestly, I mean, it's not saying a lot, but I thought this was the best Bononi has looked, but I think it's largely due to his opponent, right? Because he's kind of not executing anything that's that sophisticated. It's kind of basic stuff, but it looks really good because Darby, first of all, is tiny compared, right? And second of all, he sells it really well. So it's kind of, this was just like a miniature version of every Darby Allin match, which is basically he gets dominated for most of it, has his odd little flurry, and then wins at the end. It was a good little match, a notch below a normal Dynamite opener, I would say, for sure. I don't know. And then Sky cut a promo, right, after, I think. Did we talk about that?
Yes. I'll give my opinion after.
Yeah.
So Darby calls out Paige and Sky basically comes out, with Paige. Says Darby would love that, and he kind of mockingly says, like, you expect us to fight now for free, and he tells the crowd to grow up after some "you suck" chants ring out.
Yeah.
Sky says Double or Nothing will be the end of one legend and the beginning of 2 more.
Nice.
Bononi and friends attack Darby and Sting, and Paige and Sky join in. Paige gets Darby in a choke, and Sky sets up a chair on Sting's ankle, but the Dark Order make the save.
Of course.
I feel like Paige and Janela would have been a better opener. This was it was just kind of short and sweet opener to pop the crowd a bit, which I think is smart as well. Bononi looked good for what he got, which wasn't much, but it looked good. Sky cut a good promo. Overall, a good start to the show.
Yeah.
And then we go to the weigh-in.
I thought that Sky promo was good, too. I mean, it was the classic a million people run in afterwards, but I think it was nice to get Dark Order out there. The crowd wants to see them, too, right? So they just continue to be really fun, that group. So anytime you want to shove them in there, I'm fine right now.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the weigh-in.
Yep.
With Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Ogogo weigh-in.
With all-time great, quote-unquote, Big Show as our host.
Paul White. Yes, who make anything better?
This segment.
Bring in Big Show.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. So White panders a bit, says himself he doesn't know why he was brought in. Is he really? He's like, that's exactly what I was thinking.
He's speaking for us, reading our minds.
And based on how he does, I think that's fair. He says this will be a serious weigh-in. So other weigh-ins aren't serious. They're all like...
Yeah, and he's implying that he's so tough, right? If any shenanigans start, he's just going to stop it. He's really big and punches really hard.
And so what is the purpose of this? It's a non-title open weight match, and also they drape big UK and US flags, and the poor fans behind them can't see.
That is true. There were giant flags hanging behind them. It was like, you haven't seen Rocky, but that's kind of what I think they're going for here.
Yeah, but 1, put it somewhere else. 2, doesn't matter. 3, stupid.
Nice. All succinct, well thought out points.
Ogogo enters, and the factory seems to have some new recruit who I can't identify.
Yeah.
And Cody has to top that with 1 million people, probably from the Nightmare Place thing that I don't know.
My note: Cody continues to try too hard to make this feel significant, and
right? He's coming with it. He's like,
brings everyone he has ever met with him.
Right? He enters with like a million people who I don't recognize. I literally
Yep.
only recognize people from the Nightmare family, like Lee Johnson, Dustin Rhodes, and blah blah blah.
They are acting like this is bigger than any match that's ever been, basically, in Dynamite
this is
or
probably
in
the
AEW
least-
history.
This is the least important match, and you have like Hangman versus Brian Cage, which is like I think it'll be good, but it doesn't matter that much.
It's going.
You know?
It's kind of going past like raising the profile of this match and going into like just funny, like it's
Absurd.
comedy almost.
It's almost like to me calling, like pre-calling this a match as the greatest of all time.
Kind of.
It is almost like that.
They're putting a lot of energy into it.
Yeah. So White tells them to save everything for Double or Nothing. Cody weighs in. He decides to strip to his boxers for some reason. I guess that's a thing you do.
It is
but
when they weigh in, but
I don't think clothes weigh that much. Though.
Well, and honestly, that's in instances where there is a weight limit, right? And that the difference in their clothes might mean they don't get the match because they work really hard to cut weight and get to that weight.
This is a non-title
He could have
open
been
weight
wearing
match.
a lead vest. It
He
doesn't
could be
matter.
wearing ankle weights.
But anyways.
Like, it literally does not matter.
Nope.
They really need a digital scale because
Big Show versus scale. Holy cow.
What he struggles so much, and Cody weighs in at 218 pounds, and remember that.
So he's fumbling with the scale. Even Cody's trying to help him from his side while he's on it, fumbling with it. Show even makes a crack about having a digital scale, and then he basically has to chastise the other people in the ring, right? He's like, maybe if you guys stop moving around so much. So this was really poorly planned, honestly.
Really need to just glance. And so remember, Cody is 218, all right?
Yep.
218. Ogogo also removes his clothes, and I swear if these guys brawl in their boxers, I would laugh so hard.
Yeah,
That
I mean, it's not much different than wrestling tights, I guess.
No, but it's just fine, because like people call them, oh, they're underwear, but this is like actual
Literally,
underwear.
yeah. Two guys rolling around in their underwear. That's the criticism. Wrestling fans know
Ogogo has
that.
UK flag boxers.
Of course.
And
nice touch.
Right, but that seems like such a Cody thing to do. I'm surprised Cody didn't do that.
Maybe it was his idea.
With the US flag. That's true.
Maybe ordered him for him. I don't know.
White struggles again, and Ogogo weighs in. Ready?
Yeah.
219 pounds.
Yeah.
All of this crap, which we already thought would be pointless, for a 1 pound difference. Literally the smallest possible difference.
That's correct.
So, yeah, and then QT looks dumb, claiming, oh, Ogogo weighs 1 pound more, so he sealed the victory.
We won.
Right.
We won the weigh-in.
We won. He's going to win at Double or Nothing.
I think he was trying to be like, we won the weigh-in, like it's something.
No, I'm pretty sure he said he was, maybe, but like I'm pretty sure he also said he's going to win at Double or Nothing and whatever.
So I thought this could have been a funny line, but not. It's like, if QT has a history of being dumb and saying dumb things, like if this were Austin Theory, for example, because that's the closest I can think off the top, a character who's playing like a meathead, right, or a child or whatever, then this would have been funny. But he has no history of being this dumb, so it just kind of seemed weird. Like you won the weigh-in.
And Cody's like, give it up for Paul White. Gives him a small pop for no reason.
Yep.
He panders to the crowd, says
quickly,
he'll see them at Double or Nothing. Right, quickly.
Really quickly.
Thoughts? Because boy, do I have a lot to say.
So I thought we might actually get out of it without Cody speaking for a second, but at least he didn't say much. One thing that annoyed me about Excalibur, and I love Excalibur, don't get me wrong, slight criticism, he's felt a bit like a WWE announcer trying to tell us how serious this was, and how, like, I made note of specific...
I've never thought of anything less serious.
Specific phrases, like, he's like, this situation is so charged, it's so charged. Like...
Is it?
I feel like that's what WWE does when they know they're not showing us that, so they have to tell us.
See, that's odd, because I was unaware this was charged. It didn't feel
it's
very
kind of like,
charged.
we're not doing a good job of presenting that to you, so I better tell you a few times, which is annoying.
No, they really didn't do a good job, because
Colossal waste of time, lasted over 10 minutes. This isn't a big enough fight to garner this much pomp and circumstance. I will say to have a positive in there. I think Ogogo does have some interesting heel charisma, but this segment was kind of painful for me to get through. You've got to weigh in for a match with no weight limit. A guy who can't operate a scale. This doesn't really further any aspect of this story, right? It's just them together again. Nothing really happens here. You get 10 minutes for Cody to parade around in his underwear. It looks like it's a really good gig to be the EVP of this company. This
Yep.
is about as bad as it gets on an episode of Dynamite, and this has been 2 of these segments, right, that have been pretty much unwatchable for me. So
This one was the most unwatchable.
it's salvageable if this match is like amazing, but I don't think it's going to be.
No, because Cody's good, but
Cody is good.
he can't drag a guy who's literally the only thing I have ever seen him do is a punch.
I am dreading Cody Rhodes' entrance at this pay-per-view. It is going to be... because he's doing the whole American Dream thing
I didn't
too,
even
right?
consider that. Yeah, and
It's gonna
I
be-
forgot to mention he's bringing back his original Downstate theme, like the non-Snoop Dogg
It's
one.
gonna be over the top.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That's going...
So what are your thoughts? I know you have a bunch. I know
This
you loved it as
what-
much as I did.
That's actually probably true. This was so stupid. Like, all caps, stupid. White was awful because he said nothing good or important, and he struggled with the weight thingy.
He
or
was
the
sweating
with the scale,
like crazy
right?
immediately
That too. And because they can't
Poor
get a
guy.
goddamn digital scale. QT looked dumb claiming a go-go having a 1 pound difference would seal him the win at the pay-per-view. Speaking of which, they had this whole dumb segment. Cody's big, fat, egotistical entrance. The big flags. A win that was pointless to begin with. And a bad host. All for a 1 pound difference. Where there is no weight requirement or limit. And there's absolutely nothing at stake here. I don't care if Cody's a big patriot. There is nothing at stake here. This could not have been more pointless. Literally, there's no stakes, and they had the smallest possible difference in weight.
Possibly the freedom of the entire world is on this match because
But if a go-go wins,
the
there's
USA
no more
out
freedom.
freedoms all of us, and they're gonna freedom inject all of us.
Right.
So get ready.
This is literally, I cannot think of anything more pointless. Like, the weigh-in was unnecessary in the first place because there's no weight limit, there's no stakes at all, and then it's all for this literally the smallest difference because if they're the same weight, there's no difference. But this is literally the smallest possible difference, and it's just I hate it so much because the weigh-in was pointless and it's unnecessary. But unlike because remember, Cage and Darby did one, but that one was to kind of emphasize the weight difference, right? Because Cage is like big and muscular, and Darby is not.
Well, it's not even like
this one's the smallest possible difference, literally 1 pound.
It's not even like they cut scathing promos on each other.
They
or
didn't
anything.
even
They didn't
cut
do anything.
promos. It was literally just them weighing in for a 1 pound difference and nothing else. Like
Cody got to go backstage and went, "Hey man, you want to like
you want to parade in our boxers
hang out in
and
our underwear for a while? We're in good shape. Let's
right.
just strut around in our gitch for a
literally
bit."
just two guys standing around in their underwear with a bunch of people weighing themselves for no reason. This
As Paul White sweats like he's trying to crack a safe, like he's trying to defuse a bomb as he's messing with the scale. It was amazing.
So Cody's boring. This feud literally started over Ogogo saying his country is better. How sensitive can you be?
Yeah.
Like, he said his country's better. You're entitled to your opinion. Like, chill out, Cody. And,
Hard to believe
like,
that a person likes the country they're from.
I
that they were
know.
born and raised
like,
in.
hey,
Crazy.
Cody, I like Canada better than your country. What you gonna do about it? This whole feud and match is stupid and pointless. Coupled with the weigh-in for an open weight match, this was terrible. It was pointless.
Okay.
This sucked, and I hated it. And this match better be at least good, or this is stupid.
All right, we should probably move on. We got a lot of.
I hate this more than Shotzi Blackheart.
It was like a big miss, and Dynamite doesn't usually miss that often.
Apologies for all the yelling.
Maybe
but this
people
was
loved it. I don't know.
Really stupid. If you guys haven't watched it,
Some people did love the original promo. It was very like polarizing.
I was about to say if you guys haven't watched this, go watch it, but I can't do that to you guys.
It's fun to watch Big Show struggle and sweat and like get mad and tell everyone to stop moving. That was kind of funny in hindsight.
Now that I think about it, what does people moving have to do with him?
Because those scales are
Moving
really
scale.
sensitive, and you know how the
Right.
ring sort of.
Okay.
So it honestly would be
Right,
super frustrating
but
for him.
He should probably know how to work the scale.
Or they should have been like
Get a digital
did
scale.
you not do a rehearsal? Did you not walk through this and realize,
Did
hey,
he
this
struggle
scale's
more
kind
on
of
the rehearsal? He's just struggled less here.
this is kind of finicky, and maybe spend $100 on a digital scale.
Okay.
Anyways.
This match better than the match of the century. It won't be, but if it even wants to redeem itself, it has to be good.
I guess.
Otherwise,
we'll see. Cody's really good in the ring,
I'm
so
finished. Yeah, but with a guy who's literally only done punches, we'll see. Anyways, let's move on from that.
let's calm down, get the blood pressure down a little.
Haha, blood and guts, blood pressure.
All right.
Because we got an Inner Circle Pinnacle package. Jericho talks about blood and guts, and MJF. I thought this was a cool line a bit. he said he chose Stadium Stampede because the Inner Circle did lose that last year, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is smart.
Yep.
There's just a lot of talk about Stadium Stampede, basically, kind of just hyping the match a bit.
Yeah, it was just highlights from the previous comments from people talking about
I think this is okay, but I don't think
Yeah.
it was really necessary because they got the Inner Circle segment on the show.
Yeah, it was cool. I had no issues with it, really.
And a happy moment as Hobbs attacks Christian Cage backstage.
Yeah, and he finished with something looking kind of...
I honestly don't remember. I just
don't
noted.
either, but yeah,
I just
he took him
noted
out
what
anyways.
it was, and that's it. So I'm going to give this a yes, because...
I just felt like it was a, hey, don't forget about this storyline kind of deal, right? So there was no...
I thought it was, we know Christian Cage sucks, so here's a video of him getting beat up.
It was really quick, so it was fine.
Next we get Hangman Adam Page versus Joey Janela.
Mm-hmm.
And Taz is on commentary, and a huge pop for Hangman, of course.
Yeah, I figured
expected.
he's going to be a megastar with
Right.
crowds back now.
Holds and counters, and Janela fakes a handshake after calling elbow tie up in the corner and chops Hangman, who fires back afterwards.
Some big chops. These guys worked stiff, I felt like, this
Corner
match.
chops by Janela and a chop by Hangman. Corner clothesline and a snap suplex for 2 by Hangman. Janela gets sent over the top rope, but avoids the plancha from Hangman. Kick by Janela, like off the apron, kind of like he's standing on the apron.
Right.
Hangman catches Janela's dive from the apron and hits a fallaway slam on the outside, which is pretty cool.
It was.
I always find moves like that, like where like you're throwing them and slamming them. It always just like kind of looks cooler on the outside, just because like it's literally just padding. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's probably more padding in the ring.
And a just
Right.
bit of give, too. That's the difference. You hit the ring, there's a bit of give, where concrete, you got nothing.
Right. Janela sends Hangman into the second turnbuckle after a brief forearm exchange back in the ring. Strike exchange on the apron post-commercial break. Hangman gets back in the ring and hits his signature springboard clothesline and slingshot plancha.
Mm-hmm.
Spinebuster for 2 by Hangman, kind of like the Bobby Lashley style. Janela counters the dead-eyed kind of pile driver move into a roll-up for 2. Big boot by Hangman. Snap German in the corner by Janela. And a diving elbow drop for 2. Rolling elbow by Hangman. Pop-up powerbomb by Hangman. Hangman's like bleeding.
Yeah.
Couple
the places.
Forehead, which I don't even know what would have busted
I think it was
him
from
open.
his mouth first, and then his forehead second. I think he had
right,
double blood.
it was weird, but he looked definitely like battle worn.
It made
or
for
whatever.
a cool image at the end, I thought.
Yeah, and he still hits the buckshot for the win.
Of course he does.
Gets the win. Taz cuts promo from commentary. Taz said he would like to introduce Paige to one of his friends who's gonna kick his arse. And Brian Cage walks out. Hangman tells Taz to shut up, and he knows what's gonna happen. And he even calls it as Hook comes to the apron.
Right.
And he expects Starks, but he's not there. Hangman says he expects it from Taz, but he expects more from Cage and says he has no balls. Hangman says Cage should leave Team Taz out of it and face him like a man. Cage agrees and says he can beat Page by himself. Cage and Page, yikes.
Yeah.
He says who better? Nobody, and especially not Adam Page, which I thought was a good.
Yeah, I thought the match was good, hard-hitting match for sure. I was expecting something a little bit better, but it wasn't a bad match. I thought bloody Adam Page talking to Cage in the middle of the ring looked really cool. And there's something about Page, right? Because
I like him like calling that like
normally
he
it's
looks
like
smart.
Normally it's like he's outsmarting Cage here, and maybe he is, but even with Page, you almost feel like he's his character, not the actual man, but like his character's being sincere and is really like appealing to him and being like, do you really think you need, because I just want to have a straight up match with you, right?
Right,
So
he seems he's like the clean cut babyface.
and the way his delivery and stuff makes you believe that he really wants that. It's not
No,
just
like,
that
he's
he's
just like-
manipulating Cage and he's like ha ha ha.
But he wants like
He really
like,
wants
he
it.
literally said after he lost, like he's like, if you can beat me, that's fine,
Yes.
but do it by yourself.
Which I think is cool, and I don't think a lot of people can pull off
right,
doing
because like
that.
he's
but
just
he
the
can.
babyface. Like he'd be fine if you can beat him, then you can beat him.
Right.
But like he wants you to actually beat him,
Right.
not like
Whereas a lot of heels or shrewd faces would be like, ha ha, I just talked you out of it. But I don't think that's what he's going for
Think
here.
he
It's like, I
actually-
really just want to fight
right.
you
And maybe a
one-to-one.
lot of people go for that, but like it really comes across.
And it's cool with, Paige,
Yep.
it's believable for sure.
a good match, and no respect to Darby. But this should have been the opener. I think it just makes more sense rather than what was basically a squash.
Yeah.
Janelle got some good offense, as did Hangman, but that's pretty par for the course. Good TV match, I think. Kind of.
Yeah, that's fair.
akin to Fish and Dunn this week. I think those matches.
I think that was a little better, but
no, yeah, but like just as like the kind of short TV match between
right.
two good workers.
That's kind of what I expected out of this one, quality wise. So I thought that one was a bit better, and I was hoping this one would be that good. But it was still good. Mm-hmm. I liked it.
Next we got Mox and Kingston promo. They're bearing the Bucks' shoes, but then they get cut off by the commercial break, which is really weird.
Really
and then
awkward.
It's restarted. Mox says they had fun, but it's time to get serious. Mox says the Bucks say they're the best, and Mox says he and Kingston aren't even a real team. They have each other's backs. They're just a couple of schmucks, which I think is kind of funny, just admitting that.
Yeah.
But they're, like, really good friends, so, like, they're kind of going to just do it anyways.
Yep.
Mox says it'll be war for the tag titles at Double or Nothing. I believe him, because it'll probably be good.
Probably will be.
And he loves championships. Mox says the Bucks may be a better team, but they want the belts, and they'll do anything to get them. Kingston says they're the ones who are going to get the Bucks, and after that, they will want nothing to do with AEW, and Kingston says even he could be an EVP.
That's right.
Was funny, and then he's like...
He was funny.
And then he's like to Mox, do you want to be an EVP? And Mox was like, nah, I'm good.
I did, like, we talked about it, Eddie was wearing an old LAX t-shirt, which I thought was cool.
Right.
I thought Eddie was really good here, especially once he got a little bit serious. It's interesting how easily he can go back and forth from humor to comedy or to serious, right? And it works. I thought he was better and more focused than Mox was here, but these guys are still really fun together, right? So I have no problem anytime.
Yep.
It honestly looked like they just went into one of their backyards because you could see like the fencing that's in like every sort of suburban backyard kind of thing. It looked like they're just like, you gotta go out in the backyard and cut a quick promo. Yeah, let's go. Right? Like before dinner, let's go out in the yard and get this over with.
So we need to film a promo where we gotta bury the shoes. You want us to do in your backyard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they're funny together.
Next we got. Oh wait, I gotta give my opinion.
Yes.
So I thought it was good. I think these guys, their promos are always really good. Like they just got like it's a realistic dynamic, right? Because they're clearly just friends. It's like. I also feel like if it was like Gargano and Ciampa or Zayn and Owens, like the best friends, like just winging it. I feel like it'd be maybe not the same because obviously gimmicks, but like just
they have a rapport because they hang out in real life, right? So they're used to talking to each other.
It'd be like honestly, if like Omega and the Bucks were just like
it's just natural.
Honestly, right? It just comes naturally, and so I think that always comes across.
It does.
I think they're like I know you've been a little critical of them not really being a team, but I think they're getting good. I think the Bucks are the best, so that's going to help. I'm really looking forward to that. I think probably one of the better matches on the card.
Yeah, it's just this version of Mox as a tag team guy. I'm still not.
You'll get used to it.
I guess.
You'll get used to
Probably.
it. Orange Cassidy's response to Kenneth Omega, but nope, it's Pac.
Yes.
Pac tells Shivani to get out. He's just like, get out.
It made me laugh right away. Just the way he threw Shivani, like, get out of here. I loved it.
Pac apologizes because they were expecting someone else, but he is here to tell everyone that Cassidy is irrelevant in Double or Nothing, and Pac is the only relevant one. Pac says Omega's ducking and dodging, and Pac says it's pathetic. He calls out Omega, and they can show everyone what will happen at Double or Nothing. Callis appears on the screen and says he wants to be nowhere near Pac. Callis says Pac is a soulless sociopath, says the guy named Don Callis, and also associated with Kenny Omega.
Yep.
And they want nothing to do with him. Omega tries to attack and gets owned. And the Good Brothers beat down Pac. But the Lucha Bros make the save, so they are face again, maybe? But please say no, because that would suck.
It would.
No, it wouldn't suck, but it would suck more than if they were cool heels.
Yeah.
Good Brothers retreat. I think Lucha Bros chase them away because they are gone after this.
Right.
Omega goes for the one-winged angel on Pac, but stops when he hears Cassie's music, who then walks out. Cassie pulls out an envelope for Omega, and it was, I think it had the shredded document inside.
The second copy of the document from the week before, yeah.
An orange punch to Omega. Cassie eyes the AEW title, but Pac steps on it, and when Cassie goes to pick it up, Cassie avoids the powerbomb and hits an orange punch on Pac. He grabs the title, doesn't even raise it up all the way, but he stands tall.
Yeah, lifts it halfway, does his like half thumbs up thing to end. I mean, I gotta admit my bias. It's like everything with Cody, I'm gonna like a little less, and everything with Pac, I'm gonna like a little bit more. So I thought he did a great job
That's
here.
That's fair. I kind of do that with like Shotzi and Cross, so I can't say much.
And I think it must have been a challenging kind of promo for him because he had to all in one shot talk about a mega babyface and a mega heel, right? All at the same time because it's Omega and Orange
But I
Cassidy.
think his gimmick is literally he's a bastard, so you can just be mad
And
at
that's
anyone.
my next line, literally. That's the beauty of this bastard character. He can spew this stuff at anybody.
Right, and it's like Kingston when he was a heel. He can find a reason to be mad at anyone because he's just a miserable bastard.
And his intensity is always off the charts, so I thought it was really good. I thought, to be a little bit critical, Omega looked kind of silly, spending so much time staring into the envelope, waiting for Orange Cassidy to punch him. So I didn't love that. It made Kenny kind of look silly.
Yeah.
Because, like, you've already seen that it's shredded document. How long do you need to stare into the envelope? And then...
Maybe Cassidy could have, like, kicked him or something first, just to, like, at least, like...
Or just quicker.
You know. Yeah.
Like, just quicker. I thought it was a fun segment overall, but Cassidy's not a main title guy at this point, and I think they're telling us that
I think he'll be a
here.
good challenger, just because, like, he's good in the ring.
Yeah.
But I agree, I don't think he's going to win.
He got way too much here to be the winner of this match, I think. Which I think's the right decision. I don't think I want the title on him at this point. He's entertaining, but he's not a face of the company guy.
This is a good segment. Pac's promo was good. I liked how it took the Good Brothers to get the advantage on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that was cool. Cassidy got the upper hand at the end, and him grabbing the title clearly means he's not winning.
Touched it.
But that's
Can't
obvious because I think Hangman and Omega will be the big match, and I think they'll build to that to, I think, All Out, because that's probably their big pay-per-view.
Don't forget about Omega Moose, okay?
Sure.
Hey, I'm here for that match.
No, I would watch that.
Yeah.
That would be good. And Omega Andrade, I know you're.
Please, yes.
you're
I'll pay to.
Yeah, that's
that.
that's the definition of a dream match for you.
For me, yeah,
right.
that's up there.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else along those lines that you would like, you gotta see.
I'm sure it would take me a while to think of something, but
yeah.
I mean, even Pete Dunne Andrade would be amazing.
That'd be cool. And that's also odd because that's something they could have done.
Yeah,
as well.
they could have. But anyways.
All right. Overall, a good segment though.
Yeah, it was. I thought so too.
Cargill interview again. Shivani suggests it may be a challenge. Because she's facing Kylan King.
Yeah.
And Cargill laughs, and I also kind of chuckled because, King is a dark regular. So
yes,
I'll leave it at that.
And front row in the crowd regular, as well.
So
during pandemic,
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy interrupts. He says HFO Hardy Family Office. We'll have a big night when he wins the Casino Battle Royal. Okay. And he wants Cargill to be a part of it. Mark Sterling walks in and says Cargill's already signed with him. So I guess he impressed her.
Yeah, after weeks of telling us she doesn't want or need a manager, she has a manager. But it's a unique arrangement, right?
Right.
He only gets paid if she wins.
He can have a restraining order on Hardy because he was like the legal guy for MJF.
That's right.
And he says he only gets paid when she wins. He says she has a match to get to. This is okay. It was at least different. So
the only get paid when she wins made me laugh because that's like, you probably don't listen to much radio, but there's all these ads. I listen to like AM sports radio.
Oh yeah, like
and
where it's like we only get paid when you
that's
get
exactly
like
right. We only paid when you get paid.
Right. Yes, that's it.
So that kind of made me feel
no,
like that.
I know what you're talking about. That's annoying.
This wasn't really. This was like neutral. I didn't like it. I didn't dislike it. It was just Jade said nothing, right? I don't think one thing.
Didn't say much.
And I think we can maybe move on from this whole repetitive manager, no manager.
Yeah, this is
business.
at least a little different, but it's still.
She officially has representation now, so we can move forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Next we actually have her match against Kylan King. A Greco-Roman knuckle-lock power struggle. Clothesline by Cargill, and she does curls while holding King, and then in like the slam position, and then slams her down. King is sending the apron and a glam slam for the win. I didn't cover everything, but
Tony tells us to start that Kylan King is 11-3. Please, AEW, stop citing people's records that they built on exclusively on internet shows.
Check the rankings
it doesn't
right now.
mean anything to me. When I've never seen this woman, well, maybe that's a strong word, barely ever seen this woman, and you come, she's got an 11-3 record. Like, stop. Anyways, Cargill looked good again. Maybe even a bit more.
She's not even in the top 5, so because what you said 11-3, right?
That's what they told us.
And so the number 1 ranked Britt Baker, she's 10-1.
Right. So Kylan King should be right near the top. No.
Right. So I'm thinking maybe it doesn't count. Maybe if they're already on other like Dynamite. I mean, like maybe then that it counts. Because, like,
I don't know.
I feel like if you're building a record just on dark. But
You
anyways.
are, right? It's that one of strength of schedule. I say it every time. Like, if you're 11-3, but you're beating cans of tomatoes, and I'm 5-5, but wrestling really hard competition.
So let's look at the top 5 for men's are Cassidy, Pac, Mox, Allen, Brian Cage, right? Yeah. And so they've all compete on Dynamite and whatnot, so that makes sense, right? Women's, it's Baker, Rosa, Conti, Rose, Nyla Rose, and Red Velvet. So they've at least compete on Dynamite.
What's Red Velvet's record?
6-1.
Okay.
She's ranked number 5.
I know.
Oh, wait, she got the NWA shot. And then tag is Varsity Blondes, Sky, and Ethan Page. So that's good.
Nice.
The Acclaimed, Mox and Kingston, and FTR, who are ranked number 5, so they should get a shot. And so, like, those are all teams who are, like, on Dynamite regularly, semi-regularly, right?
Yeah.
So that, like, this will make sense. Like, you don't see any, like, dark regulars in the top rankings, so I'm wondering how they would go about that then, because, like, Kylan King, if you're, like, just looking at numbers, no, like, quality of competition or whatever, like, then she would be at the top. 5. Right. Although she has lost more than Baker. So she should be in the top 5 at least then.
That's what I'm saying. But
anyways.
I thought Jade looked good again. She even a little more polished. Some of her, like...
We got 2 stars using the Glam Slam now?
So I noticed something, and it's very me, because I talk about this sometimes, guys. Wrestling when... I always say, like, the move that they're supposed to miss looks real, like, when they know the person's ducking a clothesline, right? It looks really bad but hers actually looked really good. It looked like she's actually trying to hit a move, and the person actually moved out of the way.
Right.
So that's something that I think is pretty sophisticated for her. So I thought she looked good. She's getting more experience. She gets another win. That's all they're going for. So success, I guess. What do you think?
This was a fine squash, but it's getting less interesting when it's basically the same offense
They
every
do
time.
Need to start.
And so this is kind of the complaint I was having with the interviews.
They do need to start giving her a little stronger competition with a little more back and forth, I guess, at some point.
Right, so I want to see her have a more variety in offense, and also the ability to, like, have an actual match. You know what I mean? Like, where she has to be on the back pedal for a bit, and she has to sell and whatnot, right? Because I think that's when it really shows how good someone is, right? Because you can always look good in squash, in my opinion, right? So I think an actual match, like, that's why I think it was kind of smart starting Saraya with that match with Stark, because that shows right away she can wrestle an actual match, you know what I mean?
But I mean, it might be that Jade can't yet, right? But I think that they'll lead her there.
That's possible, yeah, but I think they need to, even if they have to ease her into that, like, I don't know if there's, like, maybe, like, well, she already faced Red Velvet, like, someone like that who's above
I know, that's what I was
thinking
too. Somebody who's a little bit, not, like, at the lowest, but next step up.
They not quite yet, but I think Thunder Rosa would be a good, like, first feud.
Well, and they need to put her kind of with somebody who's good enough to control the match, probably.
And who can afford a loss, which I think would be Thunder Rosa.
Pull her along a little bit. Yeah.
Because, I mean, she hasn't been doing much.
She's doing well with what they give her, and that's all they can ask. So, good job.
So, yeah. Oh my god, I accidentally closed the tab.
Jake and Archer speak next, I believe.
Okay, Jake and Archer. I don't know.
And I did not take any notes on it.
Don't ask why I closed the tab, because I don't know.
I don't know. It's okay. It happens sometimes. Misclicks happen.
Where is it?
And I didn't take any notes. I just have my opinion, so I can't fill in for you.
I would say wow, Dad, but I do that a lot in NXT.
Yeah, you take detailed notes. What do I need to? I just react. Go ahead.
Lance Archer and Jake Roberts. Roberts says if Dante wins, he'll be the youngest champion in AEW. But Archer says, with all due respect to Dante, he wants to face Miro. He says Miro may be the champion, but after Double Nothing, it will be the Murder Hawk Monster.
I thought Archer was good again.
Yeah, I liked it. It was short and straightforward.
Right? I have to stop saying that he's a weak promo, because maybe he's not, because they've all been pretty good lately.
Take it back.
Still a bit weird as a babyface, but this was fine.
Yeah, I think the character dynamic is a little odd. But he did good. Here's just short and straightforward. Really nothing much to it. Next, we have, the match they just mentioned. Dante Martin versus Miro for the TNT Championship. And you already know the fate when the crowd's chanting Miro's going to kill you right away.
Did you catch Dante Martin's record?
No.
I did.
What?
8-1. This is what I mean. Like, stop. So there's got to be somebody around that's like 0-50 or something. Because all these people are racking up wins and never
Right.
losing. So somebody's got to be losing a lot. But I
Right.
guess that's why I don't see them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they lose all the... Anyways, go ahead. Just a little pet peeve of mine right now.
Yeah, I can tell. Corner punches by Miro and a belly suplex. Kick to the back by Miro, jawbreaker by Martin, and a Damagiri on the apron. Springboard moonsault for 1 by Martin, and a springboard shotgun dropkick for 1 by Martin. Martin goes to the climb the turnbuckles, but gets suplexed back in the ring. A Machka kick by Miro. He locks in the accolade for the win. Gets it in deep.
What's the accolade now? Game over?
I think.
That Machka kick, he's probably not calling that anymore either, but it looked like he kicked the kid's head off.
So he retains. Archers and Roberts interrupt, though. Robert says, Sunday is Miro's fairy tale. Sunday Miro's fairy tale comes to an end.
Disagree.
Robert says Miro has been huffing and puffing and blowing stuff down, and they have had enough. They don't play fairy tales. Miro tells Jake to shut up and says Archer should let loose. Archer does and attacks. Miro avoids a chokeslam, and the refs rush to separate the brawl. Thoughts?
Dante got one nice flurry, right, which is fine. Miro looked like a monster, which he should. Just this was the match it was supposed to be. They executed it well. The aftermath was fine, but I think Jake speaking live doesn't seem to be a great idea these days. In the produced stuff where they can do multiple takes, he does okay, but I don't find him great live. And I thought it was kind of like Jake was cutting a heel promo and Miro was almost cutting a babyface promo. It was kind of, I was a little bit confused, but I mean, I don't think Archer has a chance in this match, right?
No,
but anyways,
I don't.
The match was,
I
for what
think
it was
lost.
good.
He's lost too many times, but like, I think Miro would be hurt more here, you know?
Yes, for sure.
But so I thought Dante and Martin got a bit of offense, which is good, but the result was clear as day. It was literally a squash match with what that happened to have the title on the line. Miro looked dominant as he should. In the aftermath, that's fine. Celebration of Hikaru Shida's 1-year title reign as AEW Women's Champion, and finally,
Major day.
They fixed the AEW Women's Championship. They made it bigger.
I thought I noticed when the ref was holding it,
I
but
didn't notice it
wasn't sure.
It was literally just the ref was holding it, so I was like,
no, it looked bigger.
And then when I just didn't notice it.
It didn't look like a bracelet, so.
And then when Shida was holding hers, I was like, well, wait, what? And then I noticed, I was like, so basically they made it bigger. I think it's like, it looks more fine detailed too, like it says gold encrusted or whatever.
Diamonds and gold, yeah.
Diamonds and gold, and so since they made it bigger, it only has 2 side plates on each side now.
I don't think it looks great, but I think it looks significantly better.
I still think the oval faceplate shape is odd.
It is.
But I think it looks better. I think it looks good in comparison. So I'm fine with this for now.
Yep.
It looks like an actual wrestling championship, and it looks awesome. Awesome compared to looks so much better.
It does.
I'm very happy.
Good.
This makes sense because it has to look good when Baker gets it, you know?
That is correct.
Doesn't look amazing, but it looks so much better. Sorry, I'm just reading my
Maybe
note.
they'll get an even slightly bigger one for Baker when she wins. It'll just keep getting larger and larger and larger.
Until it's too large. I'm like, just bring the
Until
small
they
one
have
back.
to carry it in a wheelbarrow behind them.
They gotta carry it like A-Kid with the cup.
That's right.
In NXT UK.
It'll be like the Andre trophy.
Shida says it'll be the size of Andre the Giant.
Yeah, literally.
Shida says there were no fans when she won the title, but they're here now. She says she is so proud, but Baker interrupts.
Babyface pandering, not in a bad way. Like, it's what she needs to do.
Baker says she didn't think she'd be invited, but she comes in peace. She congratulates Shida on being champion through the hardest year in pro wrestling, and no one can take that away from Shida. She says she wants to take back that she's the face of the women's division, because when she wins the new title, she'll be the face of a new era. She says the past era was embodied by 316, and I knew the end of this line.
Mm-hmm.
And this one will be embodied by DMD, which that's just a
and
great
I remember
line.
a wise man saying that was going to be hugily over when people came back. Who was that guy?
Yeah, because that's a controversial prediction.
Smart guy.
Yeah, that's a far-fetched prediction.
I thought this was good. I mean, Britt was more serious heading into the match, which I think makes sense because as she was kind of putting over Shida, right, I was like, oh no, she's going to compliment her in the first half and then she's going to just shred her with some sort of insults. She didn't, which I'm okay with actually. So a little bit different, but it shows Britt's range, I guess, because this was pretty serious, but I still liked it. What about you?
Yeah, I liked it. I think she did fine and Baker was really good. Match should be good because she is better in the ring than she is in segments and promos.
For sure.
The segment gets bumped up because they finally fixed the title.
That's right.
Just very happy.
You do care a lot about titles.
It's just
appearance.
Yeah.
It does look better.
Yeah.
And I don't really care that much.
This segment, well, the design and shape still isn't my favorite, but at least it looks like a proper championship as its size now makes sense. Good segment. Looking forward to the match.
Yeah, me too.
Speaking of looking forward to matches,
yes.
Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page versus the Dark Order's Stu Grayson and Evil Uno.
We're looking forward to half a match.
Spoiler for figuring out, they're getting figures.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are big Uno and Grayson fans.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, me too. And
probably they're pretty underrated, but they're one of my favorite tag teams.
And right within the first 4 seconds that Grayson's in the ring, he hits a sweet move that I'm sure you're going to tell us about that I thought was awesome.
Oh yeah, right. He does. So Uno and Sky start the match, holds and counters. Grayson and Page tag in. As soon as he tags in, Grayson just runs and hits a springboard apron DDT to Sky.
That looked awesome.
Right, and so he goes back in the ring, forearms to Page. Uno tags in, hits corner chops, a side slam elbow drop by the Dark Order. Slingshot senton onto the apron by Grayson on Ethan Page. Sky trips Grayson on the apron. Sky tags in and hits a really nice slingshot cutter.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Uranagi post-commercial break by Stu Grayson. Page tags in a double Pele kick by Grayson, who gets the hot tag to Evil Uno. Flurry, including a Hurricane Rana by Uno, which is pretty cool. And he does the signature thing where he gives the guy's foot to the ref and hits the neck breaker.
Yep.
Which I think is kind of funny.
It is. It's very on brand for him. Grayson
tags in, and Dark Order hit their tag combo, capped off by the simultaneous Cannonball 450 splash.
Which is cool.
And Sky gets Grayson in the heel hook as Page hits Ego's Edge on Uno for the win? Question mark?
Yeah, so it was weird because we're kind of watching it live, right? Which never happens. And I'm like, there's still a ton of time left. Why is this match stopping? But anyways, carry on.
Yeah, it
makes sense.
It was weird.
I forgot there was still an important segment to come.
Paige says the same thing will happen at Double or Nothing. Darby Allin interrupts with a bunch of Sting druids, and one of them is actually Sting, and the heels retreat. Oh my god, it's an old man with face paint. Run for your lives.
I was really into this match, and then it just ended. I felt like I got half a match, kind of. I thought Grayson and Uno looked really good, as generally they do, and they have really cool double team moves because they've been a tag team forever, right, on the indies.
They didn't even get to hit Fatality.
No. Scorpio Sky I thought looked really good. It didn't seem to me like Page got that much time in this. He got to hit his finisher, obviously, which is cool. And he did it to Uno, right? Which was kind of impressive.
Oh, yes, he did.
Like border tossed him. I would have loved this if it got like 5 to 7 or 8 more minutes, but I felt like it was very just all of a sudden over, but I was into it. Wish it were longer.
I agree. I was really looking forward to this match. I was hoping for better and longer because Uno and Grayson are so good, and like you said, they're experienced together. They have so many cool moves. Love their finisher too.
Yep.
It was good for what it was, I guess, but I wish what it was better, you know?
Yeah, I do.
Like, the Inner Circle segment is going to be the final thing on the show, which sucks because this match deserved to be in main event.
I agree.
Could have been so good. And if it were up to me, I would get that crappy weigh-in segment out of here.
And give this an extra.
Give this more time.
Yep, I 100% agree with that.
Good for what it was, but what it was should have been better.
Agree.
And I was kind of disappointed.
Because we were really looking forward to that match.
I was very looking forward to this.
Me too.
And so the main event thingy thing that replaced the match that I wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
Smelly little Inner Circle get a celebration. They didn't have a title reign for a year. Why do they need a celebration?
No, because
they don't need a celebration.
Because they do.
They don't need a celebration. Special guest MC is Eric Bischoff because he needs to be here everywhere all the time, I guess, right? So, yeah. Some crowd pandering. Bischoff says 25 years ago, yesterday, he got to introduce the greatest faction on the same network, which I think would be the NWO, but 25 years ago would be, so 5 years ago would be 2016, and then 20 years before that would be 96. So yeah, it would be the NWO. And now he's introducing another, and he introduces the Inner Circle. Crowd singing very loud for Jericho's theme. Jericho panders the crowd, says how good it feels to be around fans again. And Jericho thanks Bischoff for everything he's done through his career. Bischoff presents an Inner Circle highlight reel, which I thought really showed how much of a heel dirtbag faction they were, and how why are they baby faces, and why are they being cheered so much now?
I'm really impressed that you thought that, because I thought the exact same thing, and I felt quite clever for thinking it. So the fact that you're your age and you were thinking like this, It was to the point where I
right,
thought
like it shows them like
stabbing people in
blinding
the
Mox,
face.
shoving Darby's throat into the skateboard. Like
I thought
their signature thing is literally they all put their middle fingers in together. Like
it was literally to the point where I thought Bischoff might have been trolling them and was like doing it to get a rise out of them and be like, see, you guys are not, I don't know, but because it was really a highlight reel of super mega heels.
Right, like they even literally debuted like on the first time Hager attacked people. They like literally attacked a bunch of people and like.
And I think Jericho knows it because the very first thing, right, when Bischoff's out there, is he basically has to say something. I'm paraphrasing, but it was basically
when we were like making amends. Bischoff was one of the guys we made amends to.
We're baby faces now, so I better explain how
right, Bischoff was one of the guys we made amends to.
So it's almost like Jericho is aware that this face turn is so drastic and kind of out of nowhere that he feels the need to like justify some things, and that's kind of how I feel about it.
Right. So. Where am I? Santana says they have done some cool stuff, although that's not the word he used.
Yes.
Santana says they carried the company through a pandemic. Well, considering Shida was champion through the whole pandemic, and Mox was also champion through most of the pandemic, I would say no.
Yeah.
And there's also Omega and Page. So again, I say no. Santana says they are standing here with the best fans in wrestling. That's a fair point. Can't deny that.
Could be.
Used to be NXT, at least. Santana says that this is their last stand. He wouldn't have it any other way. Hager says that was beautiful. No offense, but his speech impediment's kind of...
not your favorite? Detracts from his...
Yeah. It's hard to be
it's unfortunate.
Tough big guy when you got a speech impediment.
That's Vince's feeling on that.
Yeah. I honestly would kind of agree on that. Like, I don't know.
Not proud of it,
if
but
it's not their fault. But,
no, I know what you're saying.
But it just doesn't really help.
It doesn't add anything.
Hager says he believes it's about the journey, not the destiny. He says he wants to see the hard times, not the highlights, because those are worth celebrating. Because I guess they push through. They're tough guys.
Yep.
And totally worth cheering. Sammy says they've been through everything together, and he mentions the panda head he used to wear. Remember? And
it was really dumb, and I think he regrets it now.
Right.
It's one of those, like, I'm a cool young guy, and I'm doing this, and now he's like,
Guevara
why didn't someone
says
tell me? This is
he
dumb.
didn't like when he didn't have the inner circle with them, and he'll do everything possible to keep that from happening again. And he says that this is it. He says thanks. Oh my god, it's just them like, if we're going out, at least we're going out together, or like something
hugging
like
it
that.
Out. Yep. So
I love you guys.
Yep. That's right.
Jericho says he was hesitant to form a faction, but it felt right with the inner circle. Oh my god, it's like, I didn't know I was a team player until I met you guys. It's
trying
like the classic like
so hard
rom-com or something. It's like, or like the romantic movie. It's like, I didn't know blah 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 until I met you.
Yep.
Like
it feels almost overcompensating. They're trying so hard.
It is.
Right? We're good guys. I swear to God. Look at us. We're good guys. We're good guys. Everything we say, we're good guys.
We are good guys. We didn't know we were good guys until we were, I don't know.
Until it was more convenient and fans were coming back and I was going to get cheered anyways and they were going to sing my song. So I better be babyface. Anyways, carry on.
He says if they go down, they'll go down on Blaze of Glory. And he says he loves the Inner Circle. Well, I can't deny that they wouldn't go down on Blaze of Glory because Stadium Stampede's pretty
Oh, yeah,
dope.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that.
I'm not worried about the match. I'm worried about this.
I should be worried because I generally can't stand Cinematches, but Stadium Stampede 1 was
Stadium
fantastic.
Stampede was the exception.
Super fun.
It was like the only exception.
Yep.
The Street Fight this year was okay. Like
Loved
it was
it.
good, but I love the Stadium Stampede. Like
Yep.
that was good. MJF pretends to choke up on the Tron, which is kind of funny because can't imagine anybody choking up over this. Even like the most diehard fan. He says it makes him more excited for Stadium Stampede. I guess because he wants to get rid of them. Like he's a turd fart. And he reveals Dean Malenko, basically a hostage situation.
I didn't even recognize him. Like, who is that? Oh, okay, it's Dean Malenko.
He says they better rush over before he makes the Iceman ice cold, which is a cool line. And the Pinnacle ambush the Inner Circle, and they attack him in the stadium. It's like it's the most textbook ambush. Like, how stupid are you?
Baby faces go and save people even though they know they're gonna get ambushed because Inner Circle are baby faces. Did you know they're baby faces? They're good guys. They're good guys. So they're gonna go help even knowing they're gonna get hurt because they're good guys. I think.
Right, but then wouldn't you devise a strategy if you're so good? Like, you guys go this way and we'll go the other way. And then we can actually save the person.
They think with their hearts, okay? And they saw their friend in trouble, and their just overpowering goodness just overrode every other instinct in their bodies, and they
It was
embraced
the only instinct.
their goodness, and they just went to help him. Okay? How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Okay. And so the cool part of the attack was FTR hit stereo pile drivers through the tables to Proud and Powerful.
Whoever took it on the right side,
I think it was Santana.
it looked bad.
Right,
It looked painful.
right, because the one table broke and the other one just collapsed. Like it didn't break, it just like the legs collapsed.
I was half expecting to see a report this morning that he was injured or something, right? Because I was like, that looked not great, but
Right. It literally looked like the table just like it didn't even break. It's just like the legs gave out and he just collapsed.
yeah, more or less.
Right. MJF says when you're in the pinnacle, and then like he didn't. I thought did he just not finish the sentence? He's like, you're always on top,
Right.
like delayed. Thoughts.
I mean, I'm saying it. I think you get the point. I don't see this group as baby faces as much as they want me to, and I feel like they're trying just way too hard, and it's kind of annoying. It's almost like AEW didn't plan it out well and give Inner Circle enough time and run as baby faces, because it's just not believable for me. And I know I keep saying it every week, and I'm sorry if it's annoying, but it's just been too short of a face run for this potential breakup to feel meaningful to me either. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Something's missing in the build for this match, and I don't think it's Pinnacle. It's nothing they've done. I did think the final images of this with the pile drivers through the tables looked cool. It was a decent go-home segment, regardless of how I feel about the Inner Circle. Like, for a lot of people, this is going to work. And I wish I could buy in to them being a babyface, because I'd be way more interested in this match. But there's just something missing from their side of it. I'm sure the match is going to be cool, but that's my issue anyways. You?
Yeah. So I thought this was a good promo, but they just relying too much on crowd pandering. Their heel promos are way better. They're funnier. They're more clever. It's just like...
And responding to Pinnacle promos, they're funnier too. Like when Pinnacle say something about them and then the Inner Circle shoot back, that's good.
It's just like they have no real direction, I think. I think that the package showed all the stuff they've done. They're such a heel faction. That was
a weird choice to me.
Right. It's like, I don't know. It should show them it should somehow show them redeeming themselves. Maybe like, yeah, we did all this stuff, but like it should show them redeeming themselves. I'm not sure how they would do that, but just like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Or at least neutral highlights, not like the most heely looking things they've done. Like you could show them executing moves.
They stabbed the guy in the eye with
show a Judas effect, sure, show the street sweeper, but all of the extra heel I don't know. It was a weird choice.
I just thought it'd be really funny if they put in the where when Jericho attacks the mascot.
Yeah,
that would be
funny.
really funny, because that's just such a dirtbag move to do. Like I remember that being really funny too. Like you just like bonk. I remember it looked really funny.
He nailed him with it.
Yeah. But MJF and the Pinnacle's ambush was so textbook. The Inner Circle looked like idiots. But it was a good beatdown, I guess. Like it's like.
Let's just get to the match.
You could have predicted that.
Yeah, of course.
Like so easily. Well, you're not going to defend them?
Who?
The Inner Circle.
No, I tried to defend them with no sarcasm at all in my voice.
Never.
None.
I don't even know. Do you even know what? I don't think you've ever used sarcasm.
No, I've heard about it.
I have never used sarcasm. I don't even know what that is, but I have never used it on this podcast ever. I promise.
We're always sincere.
Stadium Stampede 2 better be good, because Babyface Inner Circle isn't. Overall good segment, but why was this put on last when the tag match should have been? It should have at least gotten more time.
Yep. Overall, this show, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really love this go-home episode of Dynamite.
Yeah, it could have been better.
I thought it was well below average in the ring, especially. The opener and the final match, quote, like main event question mark, right? Those matches were well below the average for Dynamite. I don't even think that's debatable. The main event felt truncated to me, like it was cut off at some point. Miro's match was just a quick showcase for him. The same for Jade. Hangman Janela was fine, but I was expecting better. The weigh-in was just another self-indulgent waste of time by Cody. Pac's promo was cool. Mox and Kingston were fun, despite the technical issues. Sheeta Britt segment was fine. Britt was a little bit subdued, but still good. Inner Circle celebration was okay. I didn't love it. So it definitely focused on setting things up for the pay-per-view rather than any sort of exciting matches. And I, for one, was not a huge fan. I'm giving it actually a C+ this week. I liked NXT better by a significant margin. I watch Dynamite a lot for the fresh matchups and awesome matches, and I don't think I got any of that tonight. I got half a one with the Dark Order and Sky and Page, but
I think
normally there's at least one or two
like
matches.
not having a main event like that is just, it does not help.
Normally there's one or two matches where I'm like, oh, that was awesome. That makes it worth watching the show, right? I didn't have any of those this week. C+, below average. Still
That's
okay.
fair.
It didn't waste my time, but I didn't really love anything either.
So Allen and Benoni was a fine way to open the show, just kind of a crowd pleaser. The weigh-in sucked. That sucked. I hated it.
Yep.
I'm not even gonna say anything else.
Yep.
I think I went into enough detail.
You did, for sure. We
Paige
both
and
did.
Janela was a good little match. I think, it was just so bad. I could do a whole podcast talking about that.
We won't. Don't worry, people.
Mox and Kingston cut a good promo. The Pac Omega Cassie segment was pretty good. Cargill's squash was fine, and her interview was whatever. Miro looked dominant in his squash defense. Sheeta's segment was good. The main event match was good, but I was hoping for so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And the final segment was good, but I don't know. If you're gonna put it on last, at least make it like really good, because you're not giving me the match that I thought I was getting, right? So I don't know. Overall, I guess I would probably give a similar rating, probably B-.
Yeah,
just
I thought about doing that.
You know what? No, I'll go with the C+ as well, because that weigh-in sucked.
And I need to let it know like this is below average. B- is like kind of on the cusp of the average, whatever. But
I would
this
say
is
like slightly below average. This is
Yep.
Definitively below average.
All right, well, that's our thoughts on AEW Dynamite from this week, and now we'll move into another segment where we'll look at some other stuff, and that segment is Any Other Wrestling Business. Do you want me to start off with Impact? Do you want to do the rewind?
You can start.
Catch your breath while I do some Impact Wrestling.
Yes, I actually have some work to finish up.
Yeah, get on that. The show starts Impact this week with a reminder of how Rhino obtained the Call Your Shot trophy back in the day. He won it when Heath got injured. Then later on in this story, Violent by Design attacked Rhino. At some point, Rhino has turned and joined Violent by Design. He cashed in that Call Your Shot trophy last week, and they beat Finn Juice for the tag team titles after Finn Juice had already wrestled a competitive match. So sort of taking advantage of that opportunity and winning the tag team championships. So we get a very brief current promo ends the segment with Eric Young saying that this was all by design, basically trying to tell us this was the plan from the beginning, that Violent by Design, this was all, it's kind of doing like the Don Callis, right? Everything was by design kind of thing. So I think they always have cool segments. Violet by Design. They're purple. Violent by Design has cool segments. Eric Young always sounds good. It was just that up until now, right, they really hadn't accomplished much outside of just some cool segments. Now they have the tag titles. I hope these vignettes become a little more meaningful and the group keeps doing sort of impactful things, no pun intended. I liked how they addressed this right away, since it was kind of a blunt end to last week's show. It was the last thing kind of going off the air, so it was a nice reminder that that's what happened the week before. The first thing I noticed as the show kind of starts is that Josh Matthews is back on commentary. No, I just have with a million O's.
Enjoy.
Stryker wasn't great, but almost anything's better than Josh Matthews. He honestly takes away from the show a great deal for me. I didn't find him as bad tonight, though, I have to say, looking back now.
You have to say that?
But anyways, he tells us he's just filling in for Stryker, who's on assignment doing something else. So I don't think it's that Stryker's gone. It's that he was unavailable. Stryker's not great either, but I much prefer him. So Sami Callihan makes his way to the ring now, sets up a chair in the ring, grabs a mic and speaks to us as he's sitting. He says the Good Brothers cost him his match at Under Siege because they and Omega are afraid of Sami. He says that you can plan for Moose, you can plan for Swan, you can plan for everybody else, but you can't plan for Sami, and that's what they're afraid of. He then stares into the camera, says he's speaking to Callis directly, and says Callis knows exactly what will happen if Kenny gets in the ring with Sami. He calls Kenny out to the ring, but instead Moose's music hits and he comes out. He's dressed in a suit. He makes his way to the ring. Sami says that Moose is not Kenny Omega as Moose grabs a mic. Moose says that Sami is doing a lot of complaining and nobody cares because he's not the number one contender. And Sami didn't beat 5 other men at Under Siege like Moose did. He warns Sami to keep out of his business, because until Against All Odds, Kenny is Moose's business. Once Moose beats Kenny, Sammy can continue to complain, and Moose will beat him too. Sammy puts over Moose's abilities before suggesting that it's suspicious that the Good Brothers have been attacking Sammy and not Moose, right? Which is a fair point. If you're the biggest threat and you're the number one contender, why are they coming after me? You know what I mean? They could leave me alone. I don't have a match. Fair point. Good Brothers then interrupt and Carl Anderson speaks. He makes a bunch of metaphors for blaming other people for their mistakes, sort of referring to Sammy coming up short at Under Siege. A lot of religious verbiage coming out of Good Brothers this week, which I thought was interesting, different, sort of a change for them. Basically, the Good Brothers are on Moose's side, but Moose says he's not on theirs, and he attacks, clearly setting up a tag match that I'm not interested in. And this is not how I like my wrestling shows to start. I prefer a match, and this was pretty much 20 minutes of showtime without a match. It wasn't terrible. Sammy made some interesting points. Feels like Impact is almost looking past Moose and starting to book Omega Callahan, which seems a bit odd. I hope they're not telegraphing the result of Moose Omega match by doing that. The match will benefit from fans thinking Moose has a chance, so I'm hoping he actually does, although he probably doesn't.
I think he does.
He might, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe he'll get it eventually then.
Yeah, hopefully. Good Brothers are backstage angry about what has happened as Callis approaches. Callis can make any match he wants, he tells them. He makes the super obvious tag team match. He's, what's his name, Teddy Long?
Yep.
Yeah, so he makes a match
Imagine not remembering Teddy Long. God.
That was super obvious. Gia is talking. She stops Callis, asks him about the match he just made. Callis says the match is official as he's the EVP and can do whatever he wants. Demora comes up. I'm noticing this is a thing on Impact where people just come up and interrupt people like it's pretty much the entire show. And I'm not even saying it bothers me. It's just something that dawned on me.
Can be bothersome.
It's constantly like so-and-so's talking and so-and-so comes up. Watch. You see how many times it comes up. So Demora comes up, is surprised that Callis made a match. Callis says Demora asked him to get more involved with the talent, and that's what he's doing. Demora agrees with the match as Callis sort of walks away. Just a brief encounter there. Commentary then spend time talking about the growing tension between Callis and Demora. I'm not sure where it's going, but it makes me nervous because I've liked Demora's job as a babyface authority figure, which I think is hard to do. I don't need him more involved, right? I don't need them deeply involved in storylines. Leave that for the wrestlers for me.
I think that never really works out.
No, his level of involvement right now is fine by me, but I don't need anything more, and I fear that's where it might go. TJP and Fallah Bahh are going to face Petey Williams and Josh Alexander. So I noted this is about 20 minutes into the show before we get a match, which is not a choice I would make, but maybe some other people don't mind. I don't like Alexander in this because he's selling for some of Fallah Bahh's comedy offense, only briefly, but I still didn't like it because I think Alexander should just be protected at this point. It feels like they're trying to create a sort of a dynamic between heel TJP and a comedy Fallah Bahh, which is an interesting route to go as well. We basically get a shoulder tackle from the top and a leg sweep combo by the faces to Fallah Bahh. At one point was interesting. Lots of Fallah Bahh is big offense with Petey not doing very much in this match overall, which was a bit surprising. The finish comes when Bahh hits a Samoan drop. TJP connects with his Mamba Splash and pins Josh Alexander clean.
Which is leading to an Iron Man match
Not
on BTI all of the places.
That's right. There was some good action in this match. I didn't get into it as much as I would have liked, and I'm not trying to be mean, but to me, Alexander should be above this type of match right now. Like, he's tagging with Petey Williams, who isn't really doing anything. He's facing Fallah Bahh, that's a lower card guy, and TJP in a tag match, and he gets pinned cleanly at the end of it. So not a huge fan of that. I think he should be steamrolling people for a while until there's a clear X Division contender that sort of steps forth right now, because it's a little bit repetitive. It's the same people constantly right now. I think they need to build somebody a bit more. But anyways, I was not a fan of the finish of this, clearly. Gia then has a sit-down interview with Morrissey, and this was like the highlight of the show for me, for sure.
I watched a bit of it.
I sent it to you. Yeah, it was really good. She says she's happy to have him there, and Morrissey immediately jumps down her throat and says that everyone always seems happy as long as the cameras are running. So I like this right away. He just cuts her like, sweet Gia Miller, never did anything to anyone.
He's like, are you?
He's on her right away. He says people are fake and phony and will bury you whenever they can when the cameras are off. All he cares about is people hearing what he has to say. Gia then suggests that he's bitter, and Morrissey says it's more about being realistic. When he had issues, people kicked him when he was down. This part I told you I thought was really good. When he had a seizure in Philadelphia at a show, fans used their phones to film him rather than call for help.
Right.
Everyone
Which is true. That
and
did happen.
so I mean, he had the seizure. The other part probably.
I think people did film it. I think
I'm sure,
or it was. Like,
so he's using that in this story, and I think it's awesome.
Right. It has a lot of realism to it
does,
because it's
which
incorporating.
is my favorite. Everyone in the world got to see him at his lowest point. No one reached out to him. People in this very company, including people behind the scenes, laughed at him. No texts, no calls for 3 years. Once he came back, suddenly all those same people reached out to him because they want him on their side now. Gia mentions Willie Mack and Rich Swann being friends, and Morrissey cuts her off and says that Mack and Swann are not friends. Swann wants the approval of the fans, and he knows that the fans don't like Morrissey, so Swann is doing this for the attention and fan validation for his ego, not to help Willie Mack. I thought that part was awesome too. Swann and Mack are like everyone else in this industry. They laughed when he was down. Morrissey is seething now at the end of this and asks who's laughing now, and Swann, as the camera's pulled in tight, just attacks with a kick out of nowhere, and he has to be restrained. I thought this was a fantastic segment by Morrissey. He's taking feelings that I'm sure he sort of had while he was out of wrestling and like cranking those right up to 11, right? Like
it's like one.
There's a kernel of truth to what he's saying,
like
and
one
then
of those
character.
characters where it's actually like your real personality, like amped up.
Yeah, the center of this story is real. He had a seizure. People videotaped
and he
it.
had like issues and whatnot.
Is he that angry about it all? Maybe not, but he's
from what I saw in that interview I watched a little while ago.
Right?
I don't think so,
but he's channeling that into a character, and it's really smart. And he did a really,
so it's cool
really
when it's
good
realistic
job.
like that.
I thought this was awesome. We then get a hype video for the Knockouts division with comments from Hogan, Jordan Grace, Gail Kim, Rachel Ellering, Tasha Steeles, and Deonna Purrazzo, just sort of pumping up the Knockouts division in general. We then go to Gia. She's talking to Rachel Ellering, Tenille, Rosemary, and Havoc about their match tonight against Fire and Flava, Deonna Purrazzo, Kimberly, and Susan. Rosemary says that they have assembled an army and will leave no survivors. Gia asks where Taylor Wilde is, and Caleb says they should find a replacement since it doesn't...
I saw next week or this week there's another. Was this show there was the multi-person tag?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I saw that like there's another one of those for the Knockouts.
Great. Yeah, oh yeah, there was. They should find a replacement for her since it doesn't look like Wilde will make it. Tenille tries to recruit Ellering as a tag partner as Jordan Grace walks up. Ellering, of course, asked Grace to join them. Grace reluctantly agrees after complaining about being a replacement. Basically like, you only want me because you couldn't get your first choice kind of thing. So again, I think slight flashes of a heel turn for Jordan Grace that I'm actually really interested in. This wasn't a special segment. It was fine, I guess. Nothing amazing. We then get the match that I think you're referring to. Ellering, Jordan Grace, Rosemary Havoc, and Tenille Dashwood versus Fire and Flava, Kimberly, Susan, and Deonna Purrazzo. So Tenille sees that Grace and Ellering may be having issues, and she's really trying to position herself with Ellering in attempts to find a tag partner. So Tenille's been really entertaining for me the last few weeks. So I was enjoying this as well. Her trying to like get herself united with Ellering sort of at the expense of Grace if it needs to be. So I like that. I thought Kiera Hogan looked good in this. Rosemary looked good for her little bits. I really wish the Susan character would go away for good, because this whole I wear a suit and I don't know how to wrestle when you're in matches constantly is not great for me. Jordan at one point got shoved onto her teammate to break up a pinfall, so I thought they would focus on that a bit more, but they didn't end up doing that. The finish comes as all the heels have been cleared out by Havoc, and Susan throws a shoe, and then the heels are sort of fighting amongst themselves out on the floor. Rosemary hits her finisher, which is basically like the wing clipper, I think, even though she's probably been doing it longer than What's-His-Face has. But anyways,
Angel Garza.
Right, but that's how I think of it. She hits that to Purrazzo, and it's champions get pinned night at Impact as Purrazzo takes the pinfall and loses for her team, just like Josh Alexander did earlier in the show. After the match, Tenille, this is awesome. The babyface team, I guess, is in the ring celebrating, and you could just see Tenille. I don't know where she got a brush from. She's brushing Rachel Ellering's hair as they're standing in the ring, and it made me laugh. All the faces look happy at the end, except for Jordan Grace. Again, I think a subtle little tease here. Nothing wrong with the match. It just felt like filler, a way to get 10 knockouts on a show. Some of the knockouts barely appeared in this match, to be honest. It got lots of time. I struggled to stay interested. as the point of the match wasn't really clear to me. I didn't know what was going on here. If there is a heel turn coming for Grace, they're doing a really nice job of building it really slowly. Part of me thought this match existed just to have her full-on turn tonight, but clearly not, and I would rather they take their time. So I didn't really enjoy this. I don't really know what the point was, to be honest. Josh Alexander then gets a chance to speak backstage. He acknowledges that TJP pinned him tonight, and he told anyone that wants a title shot to step up. And guess what? TJP walks up and interrupts him, wants a title shot after what he did tonight by pinning Alexander in the tag match. And then guess what? D'Amore walks up, compliments both of them, and would like to watch them wrestle all night long. So he has an idea. A 60-minute match for the entirety of BTI next week. Most falls in an hour wins. They shake hands to end the segment. And I'm not going to lie, this might actually get me to watch BTI for the first time.
That maybe, probably.
I don't like TJP, but he's awesome in the ring. Alexander's amazing. I probably will check this out. So I guess that's smart booking if it's getting me to watch the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
We then get a Talking Shop live promo. It looks beyond stupid.
Oh, yeah, that's the Good Brothers thing.
You take a team that I can't stand and let them indulge themselves completely while I pay to watch it? Not a chance.
Because they do like the pay-per-views.
We then get a very cool package outlining what seems to be a real history between Rohit and Jake something, with photos included as evidence. Jake basically tells us that they've known each other since before either of them were wrestlers. They've had parallel careers and respect each other. Rohit got a job at Impact first, and Jake was the first person that he called. Jake says this version of Rohit is not the one that he knows. Rohit then speaks and says that Impact loves Jake and take care of him while they treat Rohit like trash. Rohit says they treat Jake like he's everything, and like Rohit's talent doesn't even matter. They will have a tables match, and Rohit is angry because Jake is getting his way again and getting the match that he wants. So I kind of liked Rohit's story here. Basically, see, this is further evidence of what I'm saying. You're getting the match that you want against me, and I'm get nothing, basically. Jake says he will shatter Rohit's body and their past when he puts Rohit through a table. Rohit wants the attention he deserves, and this has been a long time coming. This was kind of out of the blue, but I really liked it. I kind of care about this match now, whereas without this, I would have been not nearly as interested. It was simple, taps into their real life story, my favorite, maybe exaggerating it, maybe not, don't know, don't care. Still really like it, feels real, that realistic feeling, and it's intense, and that's what I'm looking for. So I thought this was a really good segment by both guys and the creative team for including this and making this. Then Violent by Design make their way to the ring as highlights of their title win from last week play. Young speaks. He talks about finding like-minded people who knew about the sickness and the need for the sickness to be removed.
I assume he's referring to COVID. That's funny. He's been talking about that through the whole time. Oh, that's funny.
He found Doring in Japan. He healed a troubled Diener and helped him find his purest self. He fixed a weak Rhino and has revived the War Machine. And it was all by design. Rhino having the trophy and waiting to use it when Finjuice was weak was also by design. Finjuice can't use their rematch since they're in Japan, and that too was by design. EY has told us what would happen, and it is happening. It will all belong to them, and then the lights go out, Kojima's music hits, and he walks out.
Who is another old Japan guy, right?
Yep. Kojima says, against all odds, as he stares down Doring, and he walks away. Looks like this match is made. I must admit, I'm a little bit interested in seeing it, to be honest. Kojima is older, but I think he can still go.
Doring was in All Japan, right?
And I just want to see Doring showcase, because I still don't really have much idea of how good he is, to be honest. Or not good, I don't know. I thought Young was really good here. They did a decent job of explaining the Rhino turn and the use of the trophy. They just need to keep racking up wins at this point to get a bit of momentum going, adding to their growing sort of legitimacy at this point. So I don't know if Kojima's going to lose to Doring, or they have to find some way to keep Violent by Design strong, it feels like to me, because they're finally kind of getting rolling, it feels like. Anyways, Brian Myers' recap of his attack on Cardona in the hallway last week, and then Gia's talking to the Impact Doctor about Cardona, who was thrown into a camera by Myers during that attack. I don't know if this is real or fake or covering up for something real, but he says that Cardona has a fractured orbital bone and will be out for about 12 weeks. Myers barges in, complains about them talking about Cardona when he'll be gone for weeks anyways. Sam Beal walks up and interrupts. Everyone walks up and interrupts everyone all the time. Apologizes for interrupting, but Myers gets in his face.
At least he apologized.
He does. He's aware of what he's doing. He insults Beal and his tattoos. Myers says he will teach Beal how to be a professional. Don't know if Cardona's really hurt. I haven't heard anything. And I really think Myers is a really good mid-card heel, which have always been my favorite characters in wrestling. And we'll see where it goes with Beal. Beal really hasn't had a chance to do anything other than pretty much get squashed on a regular basis. So I'm a little curious to see what he can do, I guess. Eric Young is backstage responding to Kojima's challenge. He summarizes the challenge and Doring says that the challenge is accepted. Crazy Steve interrupts with Black Taurus. And this is where I'm like, Impact uses this technique so much, the interruptions. They want a match. Diener questions them, stepping to Violent by Design, and Crazy Steve responds by saying that Diener is always in someone's shadow. First Jake's and now Violent by Design. Diener calls Steve a sick freak clown, and Steve responds and Decay walks off. It was fine. I assume we're getting a match between Diener and Steve, and I guess that's a way for Diener to get a win and Violent by Design to stay strong, because it doesn't seem like they care much about Decay at this point. So I assume it's a conscious effort to get Violent by Design looking stronger, it seems. We then get Decay, which is Crazy Steve and Black Taurus, versus Johnny Swinger and Hernandez with, who's with them, who has to be on TV every week? Come on. Who's got to be on? Who gets more TV time with less talent?
I don't know.
Alicia.
Oh.
Of course. Sorry, Alicia. I apologize. I'm sure you're a lovely woman. At one point, Swinger's standing on Hernandez's shoulders for a splash, but he gets scared because it's up too high, so he asks to be put down and then hits a standing splash instead, which was kind of funny. Steve gets dominated early until Taurus is tagged in. He cleans house. The ref spends, at one point, far too much time reprimanding Black Taurus for what seems to be almost no reason. I guess he's in the ring too long, because he's not the legal man. This allows Hernandez to take Steve out on the floor before rolling him back in for Swinger. Taurus finally takes Hernandez out. Steve hits his jumping DDT from the second rope to Swinger for the win. A nothing match, really, just a way for Decay to pick up a win, leading into what I'm assuming is a program with Violent by Design here, so they have a bit of momentum going into it as well. I would have preferred that Taurus got showcased more in this match, but it was short and not great overall. D'Lo tries to hype a Steve and Diener match and explains that both men were trained by Eric Young before he and Josh hype before the Impact next week with the Iron Man match. Callis is then talking to the Good Brothers. He instructs the Good Brothers to keep Moose and Sammy apart. The Good Brothers are family, and Moose and Sammy don't even like each other.
Family.
So referring to the tag match, saying just like don't let them sort of get on the same page together in the match. It was fine, but I get annoyed because he literally said like that'll be the psychology of the match, right? That's one of those two inside baseball terms for me that I don't love in my wrestling, but that's just me personally. We then get a news report of wrestlers being released from contracts again and the Slammiversary graphic. So they're really pushing hard this idea that
Slammiversary is the spot to scoop up all the time.
Right, where people show up. So they better have some decent arrivals planned for that show, because they're now like weeks of implying that this is where new people show up sort of thing. So hopefully. Then we get the main event, Moose and Sami Callihan versus the Good Brothers. So you know how much I love this show when the main event's the Good Brothers, right? Sami and Moose dominate early. Good Brothers try to regroup outside.
I think it's always the best sign.
Good Brothers control Sami for a while. We get a lengthy Gallows chinlock included in that bit of domination. Sammy's kind of avoiding tagging Moose for a little while. He eventually does. Moose dominates the Good Brothers, including that move where he runs up the ropes and hits like a twisting crossbody, which looks really cool. Sammy tags himself in, shoves Moose. Sammy sets Anderson up for the package pile driver, but Moose levels him with a pump kick and Anderson gets a near fall out of it. Sammy then hits a pump kick to Moose on the apron, knocking him to the floor, turns around right into a spine buster, and then the Magic Killer and the Good Brothers obviously win. Moose spears.
Why would you think otherwise?
Moose spears Sammy and stands over him in the ring before leaving. And this was a really short main event and was simply to create issues between Moose and Sammy. And I guess at the same time, the Good Brothers kind of getting back on track with a quote-unquote quality win here. I thought Moose looked good, but this is really not a strong main event. Even by Impact standards, I wasn't a fan. overall, I thought this was a really weak episode, wrestling-wise especially. There's not one match on this show that was good, in my opinion. A couple of non-wrestling segments were really strong. Morrissey's promo was awesome. The Jake and Rohit package was really good, I thought, and the Violent by Design promo was good as well. And then I noticed something. There was no Kenny Omega tonight at all. So what does that mean? Do you remember? This was the little thing at the beginning of this. They told us that he would be stripped of the title if he didn't show up on Impact every week. That was at the beginning of this, right?
No, I thought it was just that one night.
One night? I thought it was every week he was supposed to be there.
Oh, no, I thought it was just the one night.
I could be wrong, but I thought that was, they made a deal out of that at the beginning. So for me, I mostly tune in to see wrestling, and this show was disappointing in that area. So I have to give it a C+ this week. A couple good segments, but not enough for me to really recommend it. A bit of a letdown because I've been enjoying Impact quite a bit the last month or so. So yeah, not a strong week for me. I didn't really enjoy Dynamite. I didn't really enjoy Impact. So NXT was the thing that I quite enjoyed this week. So do you want to talk about...
Yep.
Let's do our rewind match.
Yep. Just give me 1 second.
So last week's rewind match, we decided to experiment with one that wasn't so good. And by not so good, I mean absolutely atrocious, right? In the Divas Battle Royal, which was my suggestion. Sorry.
Right.
So this time we thought we would go back to a good match. Well, you thought you would go back to a good match. So what's the match you decided on, sir?
It's Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero from No Way Out 2004.
Right.
Just finishing up.
Well, why don't you take a break for a minute and
Okay.
talk about this, since dead air is a bad idea.
Okay. Pro Wrestling Rewind 14. So the match starts with Lesnar yelling at Guerrero, repeated collar and elbow tie-up, corner stomps by Lesnar, and a back body drop by Lesnar, suplex by Lesnar, punches by Guerrero, but Lesnar halts out the knee to the gut, which is a running theme.
Wow, you sound super enthused to be doing this right now.
Lesnar catches a diving Hurricane Rana, powerbombs Guerrero, and spins him and throws him. Running corner knee by Lesnar, which is pretty cool. Lesnar again shuts down the punches with the knee. Belly suplex by Lesnar. Guerrero tries to re-enter the ring and is pushed back out. Shoulder block to the gut and hot shot, which is like where they pull their head over the top rope.
Right.
By Guerrero. Guerrero rams Lesnar's leg into the ring post multiple times, but Lesnar uses his leg to pull Guerrero into the post.
Mm-hmm.
Shell shock by Lesnar for 2, which is Ryback's finisher.
Yeah, it looked awesome.
Lesnar locks in a sleeper hold. Guerrero gets out by hitting a jawbreaker. Guerrero avoids a gorilla press and drop kicks Lesnar's leg. Clothesline by Lesnar and German suplex. And corner shoulder blocks by Lesnar. Guerrero ducks the running corner knee, and Lesnar tumbles to the outside. A slingshot punch by Guerrero to the outside, and a double countout's narrowly avoided.
Yes.
Guerrero
As
attacks Lesnar's leg and hits a back suplex, shockingly. A stun gun on the ropes by Lesnar, which gets a 2 count. Leg submission by Guerrero, which transitions into an STF. Guerrero slams Lesnar's knee into the mat multiple times. Basement dropkick by Guerrero, a belly suplex by Lesnar, a tiltable head scissors by Guerrero, and a figure 4 leg lock. Lesnar gets a rope break though. A leg kick by Guerrero and another STF. Lesnar powers out and hits a German suplex and a spine buster for 2. Sleeper hold by Lesnar with the arm hooked. Full sleeper now applied. Guerrero gets out by sending Lesnar into the turnbuckle. Lesnar avoids a missile dropkick, and he hits a suplex and a gut wrench kind of hold. As Guerrero tries to get to his feet, Lesnar just hits a gut wrench suplex. A rear waist lock by Lesnar, a back headbutts by Guerrero, and just straight up headbutts afterwards by Guerrero. Dropkick to the knee, and then another one to the head by Guerrero. Head scissors, and then the 3 amigos, which is just 3 consecutive suplexes.
Yep.
Lesnar avoids the frog splash. Lesnar does connect with the F5, but when he swings Guerrero around his feet catch the ref.
I thought that was well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lesnar grabs the WWE title. Goldberg, who's in the attendance, spears Lesnar, which will set up their WrestleMania match.
Amazing match.
Uh-huh.
We will not be looking at
The
that
ref
one.
recovers, and Guerrero gets a near fall. Guerrero grabs the title. Lesnar ducks and goes for that 5, but Guerrero counters it into a DDT, quote unquote, on the belt.
Yeah, kind of.
It was near the belt.
Yep. Adjacent.
He falls with the frog splash for the win, and Guerrero wins the WWE title.
Yeah. I thought this was a great match. This is like peak Lesnar kind of thing. Eddie Guerrero's amazing. They're completely believable in their roles, right? And they both happen to be amazing in the ring as well. it's kind of like a really cool take on the classic. You've got the vicious monster here, heel versus the relentless underdog babyface. And Eddie's constant attack on Brock's leg, right? That was the one thing that makes sense. And he showed a lot of variety sort of attacking it. And I thought Brock sold well too for being a big monster guy to help make it a little more believable. I really like the idea that one move from Lesnar would constantly shut Eddie down, but Eddie would just never stop, right? And he'd just keep coming back and never give in. The final few minutes of this, I thought especially, are captivating. It could come across as overbooked, right, with the Goldberg involved and then the belt involved. I thought it kind of worked really well. In this era, right, that era, where Vince still valued size above all else, right? Eddie Guerrero was just an undeniable talent because he's a small guy. He just entertains you no matter what he did or what he was given to do. Like Kurt Angle in that sense, right? His ability to make you care so much about his matches was really special.
I think Gargano did that too. Like all his matches felt like big time.
This didn't feel long, even though it was long. I thought it was an excellent match. I pretty much loved it. I give it an A-. I just like, this is Eddie Guerrero, man, in his peak, just a fantastic wrestler. Thing. And Brock as well. Like, I know you're not a huge fan.
No, but this was, I think this Brock was good. Like, this is when he was a good wrestler. Oh, did you plug in? I see you looking at the computer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Good question, though.
Yeah, he was good this time, and I think he cared a little more at this time when he wasn't just coming in, hey, give me money for a one appearance, you know? Because this is when he was full-time, so I would have a little more respect for this Lesnar.
And just their dynamic of him throwing Eddie around and Eddie trying everything, and then Lesnar just shutting him down with one move.
Yeah, this was a great match. Lesnar was the dominant big man. That made sense. You grounded Guerrero with holds and dominating with power moves, and Guerrero countered that smartly with leg targeting and using his speed. And, of course, lying, cheating, and stealing to his advantage.
And that's unique, too, because the crowd still loves the guy. The guy can cheat and do whatever, but he's still a babyface. Right, it's amazing.
Yeah. It was a great David versus Goliath style match and a very popular win.
Yep.
Overall, I'd give it an A-.
Me too. Nice.
Because no real issues or complaints.
No.
This is a very of the era match, but it's still like, you can understand why it's good. I don't think it maybe measures up, but like I think that's not really fair to say. Like,
and both of them are like
compare.
In peak physical condition, just looking humongous.
Sure.
Eddie's short, but he's still jacked, right?
Right.
Good match.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else in any other wrestling business? I do not.
Double or Nothing preview.
I watched UK, but there wasn't anything exciting, so I don't need to mention it.
All right, so we got a Double or Nothing preview and predictions. So, we got first the Casino Battle Royale. I went with the Joker, whoever that may be. With the news of the roster expansion, like we covered in our news.
Yep.
I think this entrant will be something big, and I think they'll win. Like, push the top. Whether it's someone like Daniel Bryan or like Cassius Ohno, who I've heard, or like it could be like someone from Impact or I don't know, or New Japan, please.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Or somebody else. I think they'll have a better chance than Christian Cage, who people think is going to win for some reason.
Yep.
And then the only other person I could see winning is my boy Penta.
I think Penta's a reasonable choice, too. I think your choice makes sense, too, but I did go with Christian Cage. It's not what I want.
You smelly man.
I kind of feel that when you read off the list of participants, there's only a handful that
I'll
seem to have a shot, and he would be one. So I'll take it, because it kind of seems like he needs a bit of direction.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we got Jungle Boy, Colt Cabana, Isaiah Cassidy, Anthony Bowens, Matt Sydal, Nick Comoroto, Christian,
maybe,
Lee Johnson, Ten, Dustin Rhodes, Brian Pillman, Matt Hardy, Penta,
maybe,
QT, Mark Quinn, Caster, Hobbs, Garrison, Uno, Blade, and then the Joker.
So yeah, like I would say there's like three, like Jungle Boy. I didn't say he's possible if they want to like start building him, right?
He could go after the TNT title, although I don't know what
it's possible.
I think it's the AEW title is the prize.
Yeah. All right. So that I'm on the record.
They
taking
need
Christian
to flesh
Cage.
out this field a bit more. They could put Cody and Ogogo there and just not done the match that they're doing, but why would they do that?
Right.
So we're gonna predict the Joker entrance. So. Here, let's go from 3 to 1, right? And so I'll go my 3, then you go yours, and then and so on.
Okay.
So my number 3, I went with Moose, because he's probably the most prominent star from Impact.
Yep. I went with Hangman Page just as
Although I feel like Moose maybe not, because like then he would be challenging Omega for 2 different titles.
Yeah.
Which well he could win he could lose maybe in AEW but then win in Impact.
He could.
Right.
I took Page just as like a surprise entrance, do double
that could
duty.
Work. It would still be a surprise. It would, and it's not like people would be like, "Oh, it's not someone new." It's yay, it's Adam Page.
The crowd
right?
would love it, and it sort of could give you that Page has a title shot.
And
off
it would be a callback to
when
he did this. He was the surprise in the first one.
So it wouldn't be a new signing or anything, but I think they could also save that for another spot in the show because everyone expects it to be here, so maybe they won't give it here. I don't know. Who's your number 2?
I went with Cassius Ohno / Chris Hero.
Yep.
I don't know.
Because you love you're obsessed with Cassius Ohno.
Well, I would just like to see him again. I thought he was like good in NXT. He was just the gatekeeper,
He's awesome.
But like he was really good. I like him.
He is awesome. I took Rich Swann just because I mean that secret door, whatever it's called, is
Forbidden
open.
Door.
There
How
you
dare
go.
you?
Whatever.
Oh, I saw a really funny thing about the Forbidden Door. So right, because WWE's in talks with New Japan.
Yeah.
To be the exclusive person. It's like so I saw the funny thing is the contract reads Khan, but it's Nick Khan, right? Like the McMahon thing.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really funny.
Well, I also heard related to that New Japan's interest was mostly in getting matches with Daniel Bryan, and that was like the crux of the possible deal was we want to get
there.
Right. We want to get Bryan.
And my number 1 is Daniel Bryan. So if Daniel Bryan comes to AEW, WWE I think would be screwed if they want this partnership.
Right.
And I think their goal is because they want to be the exclusive partner with New Japan.
That's right.
So that would eradicate Ring of Honor, right? I guess still Impact and AEW.
Yep.
So they're basically killing 3 birds with 1 stone there.
Yep. My number 1 is Moose because I think that it's someone new coming over. B,
I would like someone new.
At some point, they have to start getting some attention to. I don't know. Maybe they'll never pay attention to what they're doing on Impact, but this would be a way of sort of getting Moose over and sort of helping Impact hype.
Literally just been Good Brothers because they're affiliated with Omega.
So that's why I'm saying Swan and Moose are a couple of my choices because I feel like at some point they got to start crossing over a bit more, but maybe not.
Right. Next we got Hangman Page versus Brian Cage.
Right.
So I went with Hangman because I think he was on a roll. And his loss to Cage and Diamond was a bit of a shock, although it was pretty
shocking to me.
Right. I think he needs to get his win back and get back on track to the title.
Page gets his win back. I agree.
Yep.
That's my choice as well.
Sting and Darby versus Page and Scorpio Sky. Pains me to do it. Sting and Darby. Don't want it, but it's obvious they're going to keep Sting winning for now, even though he's an old man who should not be wrestling. I really hope Sky and Page win, though, even though I don't think so.
Allen and Sting win. I don't think Sting's losing yet. Wish he would. Same. I feel the same. I much prefer Sky and Page, but I don't think Sting is losing yet. There hasn't been a huge build to this. There has been some, right? Like they threw Darby down the steps and whatnot, but this doesn't feel like the moment Sting loses. So I'll unfortunately take
so
Sting.
Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Gogo. I went with Cody because he's Cody, and 2, if there's anything I've learned from Hulk Hogan other than don't publicly be a racist, America always wins.
Well, let's say don't be a racist, public or secret.
Well, yeah, don't be a racist.
Don't be a racist.
The other thing I've learned is America always wins.
Yep. I'm also taking Cody. I think there's a slight chance he'll lose just so he can tell everybody how much he does to help young talent.
No, his Americanness is too much. It will override any sense of dignity he has.
At the end of the day, he's still Cody, so I imagine he books himself to win here.
Yeah. Miro versus Lance Archer TNT title. Miro, because I think another big loss will hurt Archer probably because he's like, think about it, he faced Cody to become the inaugural champion, lost. He got a shot against Moxley, lost, right? So it will diminish him further, but Miro has been misbooked for a while, and I think he's finally being booked right, and they can't cut this off short, so I think he needs to win more. I think it's really a matter of who needs to win more.
I wish I could disagree because we're picking a lot of the same guys, but I 100% agree. It's Miro. He needs to run with this title for a while. Archer's been kind of booked strangely, I think, like kind of like a baby face, but he's still the Murder Hawk monster, so it's kind of weird to me. It doesn't seem like he's positioned for a big push.
Right,
at
he would
least
be the
as
big
big
monster heel to get his win, right?
Yeah, he's not positioned like he's going to win a title, I don't think. So I think it's Miro. There's not a
Right.
lot of difference for us on this one.
Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker for the women's championship. I'm going to go with Britt Baker. Shida has had a great run and the longest in all of AEW. The time has come, though, for her to drop the title. Baker's a no-brainer for her successor. She's great in the ring, and her heel character is absolutely amazing. She has totally earned this.
Baker wins. She's already the face of the division without the title, which is a pretty big deal. It's her time.
The title will just solidify it.
If I were to put a lock on a match, I'm pretty sure this would be
probably Omega.
Yes, those two. It's Baker's time, and it's gonna be awesome to see what she does.
She's going to be the best heel.
Yep.
Kingston and Mox versus the Bucks for the tag titles. And this is where we disagree because Mox and Kingston I went with because I feel like they're just. I don't know. I feel like they're going to win. Just they're big stars, and I feel like I don't know. They're just. I think the Bucks have had a good run. I don't know, something about it. I just feel like they're gonna win.
Yeah.
Close call, but I feel like that this would pop the crowd. And I don't know. I don't know. I have a feeling.
I'm taking
the titles can be switched back.
I'm taking the Young Bucks. I don't think Mox and Kingston need the belts at all. They're really entertaining without them. I also think there's a little bit of ego in the Young Bucks, and I don't know if they're gonna as like the most experienced tag team.
Yeah,
ever.
but they were also the ones who like they put over Private Party in like that tag tournament. Remember, like
they're in a different place now. The company's established. They've done their turn of not being the top of the division. It's kind of their turn, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
I think they need
this will be the tiebreaker match.
I think Mox and Kingston need more time as a team to beat an established champion tag team.
This will be the tiebreaker match.
Yep.
Stadium Stampede, Inner Circle, Pinnacle. I went with Inner Circle because I don't want them to win. I don't think they should win. But I think they will. It's the classic, the baby faces risk it all, and they come out on top. So they're going to get the win.
I also took Inner Circle, unfortunately. I just can't see them disbanding yet.
Although I think they've run their course, but I agree. I don't see it, but I want it.
I mean, the flip side is, would AEW really telegraph it like this? Because as soon as they said the Inner Circle have to disband, I was like, oh, Inner Circle are winning for sure. So I felt like they were telegraphing it, so maybe they're not, but I could level myself just thinking about it over, well, but this, but that. So I'm just going to stick with my instincts and say Inner Circle win, sort of to even this series or whatever it is and stay together and maybe even do and like make this go longer. I don't know, but I've taken Inner Circle.
Next
main event,
we got the triple threat match: Omega, Pac, Cassidy for the world
maybe
title.
not the main event, right? It wasn't before. It was Stampede. Was
I could see it going either way.
Yeah, me too.
Kenny Omega.
It's
Kenny Omega.
Omega, duh.
Omega. It's Omega. What more do I need to say?
I don't see there's any way that anyone else.
It's going to be Hangman who beats him.
Yeah.
So that is, I will pick Omega until he faces Hangman for the title. Well, that is going to be how it goes.
There's our picks. I wouldn't be surprised if we review that show maybe on Monday. You have the day off, and I can be done kind of early, so we might get around to talking about it on Monday. But yeah, look for us to review the Double or Nothing show that I hope we love. I would love to come down here and be excited to talk about it.
AEW pay-per-views don't come around often, so it's always
they don't usually disappoint. No. All right, so let's move into our final segment. We're pushing up on 3 hours here. Goodness gracious. And that is where Jack takes a moment or two to talk about the world of wrestling action figures in Figuring It Out with Jack.
Yeah. We got a bunch of stuff because throughout today they've been doing reveals at their fan fest.
Yes, you wanted me to wait until 3 o'clock so that you could get there.
Yeah, so I was.
So go ahead, hit them with it.
Impact. We got a buttload of stuff. We got some AEW wrestling buddies revealed. And we got Luchasaurus, Darby Allin,
which is really cool. I had Macho Man Savage back in the day with the original ones.
We got Cody and Kenny. Each were shown beside an AEW Unrivaled figure, although, well, actually, I'll get to that. Luchasaurus was with his Series 5, Darby was with the Series 3, Cody was with his Series 1, and Omega's with the brand new one that looks awesome. By far the best Omega. Yeah, new scan, awesome attire. But I'll talk about that in a sec, actually. Each figure matches the attire of the wrestling buddy. My theory is maybe this will be a 2-pack thingy, but, unsure. But I don't actually think so anymore because AEW Unmatched Series 1 revealed, and if you don't know, I did talk about this a little while ago. this will basically be AEW Arrival 2.0. Same articulation, probably the same price then. It's just a way to get the roster out quicker. So we got Miro, who's new, so that's pretty cool. We got Kenny Omega, and the unmatched Kenny Omega is the one I was just talking about. It looks really good. I love that. Then we also got Britt Baker, who's getting her figure before Christian Cage, so she doesn't have to retire. So that's good. We got Darby Allin, who looks awesome. He's got like the paint that's like kind of got the tree design on it. Remember that?
Yep.
So that looks really cool. It's got a face of TNT skateboard. He looks awesome as well. And we got Dustin Rhodes as well, who's got the blue look, which I think it looks good. Like, I like that.
Yep.
And we got an LJN style. Remember, like, the LJN rubber ones?
Do I remember them? Please. Yeah, of course.
LJN Cody Rhodes.
They were what I grew up with, man.
Yeah, so we got an LJN Cody Rhodes.
And they were useless because you couldn't even pose them at all, but you could. If you hit your sister with them, they hurt. That was the key.
Is that what you did?
I didn't have any, but my friends did. My parents, remember,
so you went over and used them? You had the thumb wrestlers.
My friends would hit their siblings with it. I just had the thumb wrestlers.
Did you like go over your friends for those then?
I didn't really have a ton of friends. I know somebody had a couple of them, but I didn't. It was hard to find wrestling fans even back then. So
yeah.
Same as today.
But they were in your era. Yeah. At least, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They were.
So I love this Omega, as I've already gone over, but it looks great. I think the scan looks awesome. It's got like the blonde hair like his Series 4, but it's got like a muted expression, which I always think works better. Like the Dustin Rhodes, for example, he comes with an interchangeable screaming head. I think that's your ideal scenario, right? Because you can use the screaming head if you want it, but then like you also just have the normal face if you want, right? But I think that Omega attire looks awesome, and the Darby's really cool too. He's got like the body paint, which I always like. It makes it look better.
Yep.
AEW Unmatched Series 2 revealed, and so we got Tay Conti, so that's good for her. She's got 2 heads as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that good for her.
Good for her, man.
Yeah. Wardlow also getting his first figure. I think he looks awesome. He's got the screaming head because he has to.
I saw her on a podcast getting asked about why she's developed so much more in AEW, and she basically, her answer was because I'm happy. And as she elaborated, it was basically like, I don't have to worry about any of the nonsense backstage political. Did you shake this person's hand? Did you say hi to this person? Right? Like, it was pretty telling.
No,
100%.
Well, that glad she's happy because she is doing great.
She's good.
We got MJF, who's got just his. I remember he wore like that robe.
Oh my god, yeah.
That looks pretty cool.
Looks
though.
like something Rohit would wear.
Yeah, but he's got like his robe and Proud and Powerful, and damn, they look sick. I love those so much. Santana and Ortiz, I'm showing you on my phone right now.
Nice, yeah.
They look awesome. Ortiz.
We need to get these segments video, man.
Yeah, I would love to do that at least. Like, even if it's just this part.
I know.
I think that would. Yeah, we can try it then.
I know.
But so they look awesome, and the last one is you want to say it?
Sting.
Yep.
And it looks good.
Had to happen.
I mean, it looks like Sting.
It looks like an old person. Yes, I agree.
For sure.
And we got AEW Unmatched 3 revealed. So we got the first Unmatched series, and I covered it while you took a brief bathroom break.
I did.
They're basically the same as Unrivaled figures, just getting the roster out faster, which I really like. Like, that's smart. I don't have any images for this series, but it seems to be the Dark Order / Brody Lee tribute set. And if it is, I think that's a pretty classy move. Like, it's also getting figures for people I want, like, because we got Brody Lee, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
John Silver.
Like him.
And we got Grayson and Uno and Anna Jay. And there's a 6 figure who's yet to revealed. I thought it would be maybe Alex Reynolds or 10, but it was revealed to be an LJN style Darby Allin. And I don't know why I don't know why they're doing the LJN figures. I mean, I kind of do because the collectors would probably want them, like the old school collectors. But I think they just need their own set because, like, I feel like you could do, like, you would want Reynolds to go with Silver or, like, 10, like, or, like, instead of LJN Cody, like, something else. You know what I mean? Like, you could get, like, one of these normal figures for someone else who
they're just tapping into, like, the nostalgia of someone like me that wants one of those.
I think if you were doing that, then you could, I think they'd need their own set then. Because I don't want them, like, in this set, 'cause I think this is for, like, just the current action figures. I think they need to do, like, they can do their own nostalgia set. That's fine, but I think it's just taking a spot from something better.
Because I don't think anyone's ever going to play with those. It's just like collecting them.
Right,
because they're retro.
Again, I think like, I don't know, it just doesn't fit in here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm really excited. I do want a Brody Lee because I only have a basic Luke Harper.
Yeah.
So, and that's cool. I really want to own Grayson. That's going to be awesome. I hope the LJN figures aren't in every unmatched set because, like I said, it takes up spots.
Yeah.
When the series is supposed to get out the roster faster.
Yep.
There wasn't one in Series 2, so that's a good sign. I think they need to be a rare occurrence, though. So AEW Unrivaled 7 is revealed, and so you'll like this right off the bat. FTR. We got FTR.
I do like that.
They look pretty good. White and red. I'm really happy to get them because I only have a basic battle pack of them. In WWE.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Young Bucks in like it looks. I think someone said this is a Kobe Bryant attire. It's like purple and yellow. And
Lakers, yeah.
It looks pretty cool. And so it's just a different color headband, but they reused Nick's Series 1 head scan, which is like a gritted teeth. And I like the Nick scan, but some people say it looks weird, which I think is odd considering this matte scan with the open mouth that they reused from Series 3. It looks ridiculous. I think they should use matte Series 1 scans as well, because it's just like kind of like the mouth closed, and I think that looks better. I think that both the Nick scans I think are better than the two matte scans, but that's just me. I'm different.
That is true.
And then we also got Lance Archer, who I think he looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Black and red. And Nyla Rose, who just because these are render images, the render image of her face looks really odd. Just like, I don't know.
Great.
It looks really big.
Yeah.
I feel like once they get the actual scan out, it'll look good. It's a open mouth expression. We got the AEW Unrivaled 8 lineup, so no images or renders yet, but so it's weird. They posted it earlier, but then they deleted it, but I was able to find a screenshot, but then they just revealed it again in their live stream anyways, so that does not matter. We got Best Friends, so that's cool, because I do really want to get them. Orange Cassidy again, which his figure will probably be pretty similar. I saw the one YouTuber suggested, like, they do one, without the hands in his pockets. I actually have my Orange Cassidy right here, because, like, you can put the hands in pockets, but, because, like, it's this rubber, so that you can get the hands in, it hinders a bit of the articulation. So, like, one to, like, pose around and whatnot.
Right.
Which I think could work. Or, like, I noticed he kind of wears pants with drawstrings now, so maybe...
He does. They're more like track pants that look like jeans.
Right. So we got Cassie, we got Chris Jericho again, even though I guess he's only had, like, 2 figures in the main line and then one. So I guess cut him a bit of slack. But it feels so soon because they just revealed the Series 6 Jericho, I guess. And then we also got another Jon Moxley, which, I mean, his attire... They both have attire variation, so I guess I'm complaining a little too much. I mean, I like both of them, so I'm fine. And Chris Statlander, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good for it. They also revealed some Amazon Chris Jericho with this cool pink jacket. That looks interesting. And they revealed another scale ring, which is basically just a Double or Nothing ring, and it comes with an Aubrey Edwards.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool. But I think this is kind of pointless because it's the same as the other ring, just with different aprons. Literally just new figure, new apron.
That's cool that
push it out.
Has there ever been a ref figure that's actually the person?
The only one in WWE that they've done is a Build-A-Figure Danny Davis.
Right, so that's cool for her.
Yeah, that's good for her. But I think what they should have done is they should have done either she gets her own ringside exclusive figure, because this is ringside exclusive, or they do like some ringside pack. Like they could do her and a cameraman. And like
makes sense that she comes with a ring though, because then you can have a ref.
It's the same as the other ring. I think they should have they could maybe say, here we're re-releasing the same ring, but now you can get it with a ref instead of Kenny Omega. Or I don't know, it's just the same ring. It's like you have to spend all this money to get the same ring and get the figure. So I don't know.
Yep.
But I think that's really good for her getting a figure. But a lot of cool reveals. I'm really excited. Other than the LJN, the Unmatched series looks awesome. I love the Kenny, Miro, Darby, Proud and Powerful looks awesome. Wardlow, there's a lot of good stuff here, honestly.
Good.
FTR and Unrivaled and the Young Bucks, a lot of cool stuff. If there's other stuff after the pod, well, then that kind of sucks. But I think this is pretty much everything for today. Like,
cool. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
good week for figuring it out.
Yeah. I'm glad this came around. So
good.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
good stuff.
That's going to bring us to the end of episode 45. Thanks to everybody for joining us for a bit of it, for all of it, whatever. If you're new, Hope you liked it and come back
However
again.
much you want. That's good enough.
If you're a returning listener, thanks for coming back. Feel free to contact us. That'd be great. I'd love to hear from some more people.
If you want a video figuring out, then let us know. Because
Yeah.
we'll probably try it anyways, but if you actually want to contact us, then we'll
Not
for
like
sure
I've been
do it.
trying to get you to do it forever, so yeah,
No,
let's just
we've
act like it's a brand new
talked about it,
idea.
but you've never said you wanted to do it.
No, never.
Well, you suggested it.
Uh-huh. How many times?
You've never said, "Hey, let's
20?
go try it."
Anyways, yeah, so we may get around to that. And again, look for a bonus episode where we're talking about the Double or Nothing review as soon as we can get around to it, probably. Hopefully early in the week, I would like to, before I forget everything that happened. But, so take a look for that. Anywhere you're following us, you'll see updates on any time I post anything. So I'll probably do another ROH, maybe on Monday.
I will do everything in my power to remember to post
there you go.
about the podcast.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, you have one job basically, and you
I
can't handle it.
will do it.
That would be helpful. But anyways, thanks to all of you for spending some time with us. We'll see you back here on Saturday for sure, if not before. And until then, take care.